This is Borders Rugby Special on Borders Rugby Radio with Stuart Cameron.
Hello and welcome to the very first Borders Rugby Special right here on Borders Rugby Radio. I'm Stuart Cameron. The team will be here throughout the next 3 hours to bring you the latest score updates from the Borders Rugby scene with live commentary from our featured match today between Hawick and Selkirk in the Premiership. We've got reporters covering many of our local teams today, including the Border League clash at the Guides between Peebles and Kelso, Jed Forest at Curry in the Premiership, and the Southern Knights Super 6 match against Boroughmuir. That's all coming up along with a chat with Robin Purdie very, very shortly. We're also going to be here from the Selkirk Director of Rugby, Martin Murray, another guest on the show as well. But first, let's say hello to our commentator this afternoon, who is indeed Robin Purdie. Robin, welcome.
Good afternoon, Stuart. Great to be here.
And it's the first day of the season. Always a bit of a lottery.
It is a lottery. Who's going to win first? Who's going to lose first? And there's league points up for grabs here. There's border league points. There's the Bill McLaren Shield. It is all on the line.
Not easy to say, is it that?
Not easy to say.
Well, it's a bit like I described it last night on the Friday preview show, that it was a bit like a 4x400 metre relay. The stagger doesn't really unwind until after a couple of weeks. So it's going to be very, very interesting, isn't it, to see what shapes up early on, because we can get a few shocks.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Hawick first of all, they look to be in good fettle. They've got a couple of players with reasonably small injuries, should be back in a week or two. Selkirk, on the other hand, have got a few more boys out with longer term injuries, and yeah, as you say, it's going to be 2-3 games in until the teams kind of see where they stand and see what they've got to do for the rest of the season.
Now, the thing about Hawick and Selkirk, certainly in recent years, it's been a very, very close game here down in Mansfield Park. We had a draw, about 22 all, and then a last-minute penalty from Kirk Ford made it 23-22 again to Hawick. So Selkirk will be knowing that they'll certainly fancy their chances today. Yeah,
both games last season were close affairs, as you say. Hawick won by a point here in September last year, and in December over at Philip Hawke it was only 14-9 to Hawick. So yeah, Selkirk will be coming here in reasonably good fettle. As I said, they've got a couple of injuries. You know, one of their main signings has been injured. He'll miss most of the season. But yeah, I think it's good conditions here. There's no wind. The sun is shining. I think both teams will be in good fettle.
Now, of course, home advantage for Hawick, which is always a good thing, particularly with their great record, which is, I think, going back to about 2019 was the last time they were beaten here in the Premiership.
Yeah, I think it was October, so almost 3 years ago, Stuart, I think it was a tight affair against Glasgow Hawks, if memory serves. So yeah, they're formidable at home. Hawick, we know that. You know, they've seen off Curry here last year, they've seen off Mar. So yeah, it's going to be no mean feat for the visiting outfits here this season.
Well, more from Robin later on, and of course Andrew Fleming, our co-commentator. We've also got Kelly Mitchell here, and she'll be having a little chat with us very, very soon as well. But joining us in the back of the Mansfield Park stand at the moment is Matty Douglas, the head coach. We'll be talking to Scott White shortly, the head coach of Selkirk. But Matty, you were thrown in at the deep end, weren't you, this time last year, and given the keys to Mansfield Park, and my goodness, you performed.
Yeah, you're right there, Stuart. It was a daunting task last season. I think I said that last night on the preview show, that it's a different pressure this year. I think we need to perform. After last season, it was a mindset to do our best, and we probably passed that quite easily in terms of unbeaten at home, Border League, third in the league, make a playoff. But this season, there's a different kind of feel around the club, and that we're really looking forward to it. We're really looking forward to getting back onto Mansfield and really pushing forward. Last season means nothing if we can't back it up, can't be a one-team wonder. So I think the players know that, and we're really looking forward to today.
And you've got to really hit the ground running today, haven't you? Because everything's at stake. Bill McLaren Shield, which you certainly want to keep. You've got obviously a Border League interest, Pool A, and obviously the Premiership, the business end.
Totally. And I'll be honest with you, we haven't really mentioned Bill McLaren Shield, Border League. I think the Premiership first and foremost, we win the game, and whatever comes with that comes with it. You know, obviously Jed next week, you win both your games, whatever the Border League final could be decided by next week. So no, I think there's a lot at stake, but the players have got one task, and that's to win the game, and we're really looking forward to getting back going.
And what about the team that you've got? Because there's been some interesting selections here. We've seen Kirk Ford moving out to number 12, and you've got a young scrum half coming from Jed Thistle.
Yeah, look, our team selection with Graham coming in as backs coach has took the pressure a little bit off myself, and we can have a look at different avenues. And we signed Vian Griebenhau, the centre, and obviously plans changed when he done his ACL in Poland. So Kirk, to be fair to Kirk, he's been injured since April for the Sevens. He's not featured much in pre-season, but last 2 weeks he's got back fit, and we're just looking at something different. Kyle Brunton is really impressed in pre-season, and he gets the nod here today, and it's just to have more a ball player at 12 next to him, and hopefully that feeds Andrew Mitchell back in. Andrew's had a tough spell at the Knights, and last season Adenku saw the best of him, and he knows that. He was bitterly disappointed with some of his performances here at Hawick, and he's had a great pre-season, and last week he was just he was immense, and hopefully Kirk can bring him into the game, and then we've got an exciting back three that if we get some space, which I know our forward pack will give us, we'll hopefully be scoring some tries.
And nice to see Lewis Ferguson get a start at fullback as well, because he's a guy that I rated very highly. I think pre-COVID actually, he seemed to go off the boil a wee bit, but now he's back in form again.
Yeah, so Lewis, he was here when I was defence coach with George, and he played every game on the wing, and he came, we had a chat with him after COVID and the last season, and he was at football, and he could see what was going on down here, and was very, very keen to get back involved. And as it comes, he's performed well at fullback, and we're giving him a chance. He just adds something different in attack. Saw that at the Sevens. He's just an abrasive runner, and hopefully if we can get him some space, he'll be able to finish some tries off.
Got to mention the pack as well. Of course, they'll be very upset if we don't mention them. And I mean, you've got such a strong pack. Matty Carrier, Nicky Little on the bench.
Yeah, so there is actually a team where Ross Graham is out injured, so he got a dead leg last week, so Matty actually starts now. But even then, if we were to start Ross, you can see the competition straight away in that front row, and as you say, to add Nicky Little onto the bench, he just bags experience, and he's been really good working with Lewis and some of the younger players in that front row, and he's a great player to bring off the bench. And as I say, to have Dalton back in there as well just sharpens that up a bit and gives you a bit of experience more than anything else, and a bit of go forward and attack. So we're the pack, if we can build our set piece today, then hopefully the exciting back line will do the business on the width.
Must mention Jay Linton as well, because he was off injured a lot, the whole of last season, and he started so well, and it was such a shame, and now he's back. We can hopefully get him for the whole of the season if we can. Yeah,
hopefully. Jay's took a bit of time. Obviously we were gutted for him last year, as I think he was the best 8 in the league. There was no question about it, and he's worked hard to get back to where he was. Broken a vertebrae in his back, so he's made a full recovery, and we weren't sure what he was going to do, but we knew when he was turned up at pre-season that his mind was in the right place. And he's probably lost a little bit of weight, but physicality wise he's still he's got to be hard to stop off the base of the scrum, and he just brings we had him, Dalton, Connor Sutherland's put a bit of size on, so our forward pack, I think Lewis is pretty happy where we're at, but it means nothing. We need to perform the day, and that's the task that we've gave them. How difficult has pre-season been? Because we've had, for the very first time, 3 Sevens tournaments to negotiate, plus you've got to prepare for the 15s, and each club have done it in their own different way. You went up to Tyndale, I think it was a 14-all draw. You must have got something positive out of that. Yeah, I think, as a club, we knew that our Sevens and last year wasn't up to standard. We know that, and we always said this season coming into it, we really wanted to focus. Yes, 15s at this time of the year is the main focus. It always has to be, but Kings of Sevens, you have to send it. From my point of view, you have to send a club there, and or a team, I should say. And last week, yes, we struggled with boys away and injuries, but we've got a team on the park, and they really stuck in. But we won Hawick Sevens, and I think that Hawick Sevens victory showed that we can play Sevens as well. We were always, last few seasons, we've been knocked off a sevens that we kind of play it, but I think that's a great stamp, and it's a busy schedule, it always is, but as we've came through it, no major injuries, and we're raring to go today.
Brilliant. Well, the best of luck to you. I shall be saying the best of luck as well to Scott White, who's going to be joining us right now.
Perfect, thanks Stuart.
All the best to Matty Douglas there. So plenty of work to do between now and 3 o'clock. So Matty Douglas is going to see his troops on the pitch, and one head coach goes out, the other one comes in, and it's the man himself, the Selkirk head coach. Good to see you, Scott White.
How are you getting on?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well.
You've got a smile on your face, but what's happening?
Back.
What I know, rugby's back. What about Selkirk though? Let's talk about Selkirk. The last couple of times you've been here, a draw and a 1 point loss.
Always close.
Always close.
Look, they're always close games. I mean, you would say form, but nobody's really got form because it's the first game of the season. So, no better place to really come and test ourselves and just see exactly where we are. So, after today at 4:30, we'll have a great indication of where we stand.
Absolutely, and you've got some quality signings, of course, but unfortunately, they're not all going to be on the pitch today.
No. No, a wee bit kind of similar to kind of last year. Unfortunately, a few niggles, obviously stuff on this weekend and stuff. So, but look, the team on paper is still strong enough to do a job, and that's been the focus this week. The 15 guys that are fit and the 15 guys that are on the pitch. Look, they're here to do a job. They've got a clear game plan to play today, and hopefully we can execute that. And if we do, we've got a chance.
I was just mentioning as well to Matty that, of course, there's three things on the line. You've got the Border League, you've got the Bill McLaren Shield, which will look very good in the trophy cabinet at Philip Hawk, I'm sure. But Premiership, at the end of the day, it's all about the Premiership.
No, of course it is. I think, especially the kind of form that we had last year, it wasn't ideal. So, it's key to really start off well this year, and what better way to do that by coming to Hawick and winning? It could really catapult our season, and then it takes us into 2 home games. So, but first and foremost, we've got 8 minutes at Mansfield Park, as you say, for Premiership points, and hopefully we're going back down the A7 with 4 points.
Now, we were trying to get a team out of you yesterday. It was very, very difficult. What is it looking like at the moment?
So it's been named. So there's a few kind of late fitness call-offs. Kieran White's in there, Aaron's obviously in there as well. We'd hoped that they'd both be available to play this week. Unfortunately not. We've actually done a lot of work this season, believe it or not, with Ross Nixon at 6. So he was supposed to be moving into the pack, but he's a glutton for punishment, so he actually starts at 10 today.
Right.
Just due to options and stuff, we felt this was the kind of most sensible. He'll go in there and he'll kind of control the game from 10 today. There's
a bit of experimentation in Matty's side as well. Kirk Ford moving out to 12, Andrew Mitchell at 13, and young Lewis Ferguson coming in, and a brand new scrum half as well. And equally, you've started some youngsters.
No, definitely. I mean, we've been really impressed with Monroe. Monroe's come down from the youth club. Finlay Whelan's is there. Blake Cullen's on the bench today. We had Lachlan Ferguson also, who was supposed to be involved in the squad today, but he's actually won his singles and his doubles through the week. So the finals of the Borders singles and doubles tennis is on today, so he's unavailable. So there's a good group of youngsters there. It'll be great to see Monroe in action from 8, and hopefully Blake gets some game time off the bench today.
Well, Matty Douglas is away at the moment now. He can't hear us, so what's your tactics?
What's my tactics? Look, we're physical in the midfield. We've got Ross there with Andrew Grant Sati trying, obviously, we looked at kind of how Hawick played last year. They've got big ball carriers coming around the corner there, so we're trying to negate that and stopping them giving the go forward. And then on the flip of that, as you've already said, you've got 17-year-old Hector Parson at 9, Kyle Brunton at 10 and Kirk Ford at 12, so that's certainly an area that we're going to target today.
But just great to have rugby back, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I mean, and the sun's shining in Hawick for a change. So
and no wind, no rain.
It makes a difference. So, there's no excuses. There's no excuses today. We're in a good place, and, the boys are looking forward to it.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck, as we did with Matty as well. Let's hope we get a really, really good game. Thank you very much indeed. That's Scott White, of course, head coach of Selkirk. Now, during the week, Gala announced that they were parting company with Craig Jackson, the former Melrose and Southern Knights player who came on board in a player-coach capacity. The main issue was that Craig was keen to resume his playing career at a higher level and felt that he could combine playing for a Super 6 team and coaching the backs at Gala, but the Maroons weren't so confident that that would work for them, hence the departure last week in a statement from the club. We're going to hear from both parties. Stuart Johnson, the head coach, he gave us his thoughts, and you'll hear him in a second, but first let's hear what Craig Jackson had to say.
Obviously I came over to help Fraser Thompson out, who's done a sterling job over there to kind of get the club back to where they want to be going in performance-wise, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with Fraser and getting to know some of the boys, which was an interesting time in itself. but they were great with me, and they're a great bunch of boys, and they've got real potential. They've got some really good individuals and some young aspiration rugby players, aspiring rugby players, so they're a really good group to work with. Unfortunately, the club and I haven't kind of seen eye to eye over the last couple of weeks as I was trying to progress on my rugby journey, which I was honest with from the start, and they've chosen to kind of let me go as such, as I can't fully commit. As if the opportunity arised again to play Super 6, I would have to take that, and they as a group couldn't see that as a club, so I've had to step away from myself, really, which is unfortunate because I really did enjoy my time at Gala, and they've got a really good group of boys that I enjoyed working with.
On behalf of the club and myself personally, I just want to thank Jacko for the last 10 months, the time and effort he's put into the club and instilling a culture that'll put us in a great place for this season. Obviously he's worked brilliantly himself to get himself back fit, and has got obviously aspirations to play a high level of rugby, and I wish him all the best for that.
So there we are. That's the head coach of Gala, Stuart Johnson, there talking to us earlier this week, along with Craig Jackson. Stuart Johnson on the parting of the ways for Gala and Craig Jackson. And before that, Craig giving us his take on the matter, and we wish both player and the club the best as they move on in different directions. Well, this is Borders Rugby Special on Borders Rugby Radio, coming to you live from Mansfield Park. Thanks for joining us for our first broadcast of the season. We're here for the big border clash between Hawick and Selkirk. First day of the Premiership, but let's not forget it also doubles as a Border League game, and also the Bill McLaren Shield is at stake as well. So both teams fighting on both fronts this afternoon. Our commentary team today is Robin Purdie and Andrew Fleming. They're both with me right now. We'll have an early look at the teams with you, Robin, there.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, Hawick looks strong to me, Stuart. They've got a couple of players out with niggles that should see them back last week, but yeah, this to me looks like an even stronger squad for Hawick this season than last season. And Matty touched upon the number 8, Jay Linton. He thought that Jay Linton had been the best number 8 in the league prior to his injury last season. I would take that a step further. From the rugby I've seen last season, I'd deem him to be the best. I'd deemed him in that period of time to have been the best player in the league up until he got injured. So it's almost to an extent like a new player coming back. And Dalton Redpath returns to the club in the second row. He's got Southern Knights experience. He's a big old unit. He's an abrasive character. And yeah, just looking at that forward pack from Hawick, they've got talented backs, but looking at that forward pack, I can see them doing a number on a few teams this season. What about you, Andrew? Early thoughts on the game?
I think at this stage it's hard to look past Hawick and the home form they had last season. Obviously 9 games here at Mansfield Park, and they won all 9, so I think they'll be fancying their chances with home advantage. But I mean, Selkirk are recruited well in the summer. They've 4 debutants today in the Premiership here, so looking at their team, there's a good mix of youth and experience, I'd say, and especially Munro Job at number 8 there. Really impressed with him on the King's circuit in the summer there, and he brings a physicality to the back of the scrum which will be needed after obviously Ewan McDougall's retirement last year. So no, I think we're in store for a good game. What's really exciting, I think, from my point of view, is knowing that we've got a lot of youngsters coming out. I mean, we've just seen Scott White talking about the people like Jake Whelans, who's come up from the Selkirk youth, and a few others as well, Munro Job, and they're all now given this exciting platform in the Premiership to really showcase their talents today. Yeah, and that's the way it should be. Young players coming up through the semi-junior setup. A lot of players go straight from semi-junior now straight into full senior rugby, and they kind of skip the second team stuff and the juniors and the kind of junior teams. But yeah, Selkirk have got a number of good youngsters. Hawick done really well in the semi-junior. They won the semi-junior league last season. They got pretty close in the Scottish Cup. They have a number of players just kind of knocking on the door there. But yeah, it's good to see these young guys come through, and just with Selkirk having a few injuries, it gives a few of them their head this afternoon. Where do you think the game's going to be won today? I think, like most games of 15-a-side rugby, Stuart, it's going to be won and lost up front. And as I alluded to just then, I think Hawick look really strong in that area. Selkirk have brought in, they brought in Ewan McQuillan, and he's gone out injured, which is a real blow. I thought that looked to be the signing of the summer for any club, not just Selkirk. James Head, he comes in 7 seasons at Melrose. He's an ex-Southern Knight. He's a big old boy. He's an abrasive character, so he'll add something. But I just look at that Hawick pack, and I can see them doing a number on a lot of teams this season. But we've
been here before, haven't we, with Selkirk, Andrew, and they always step up to the plate for a match like this.
They do. I mean, I know they lost both matches against Hawick last season, but they came away with a losing bonus point from both, so they know exactly what to expect from border derbies, and they'll get stuck right in. And as we've alluded to already, they seem to have a good blend of experience and bringing in that youth as well. I mean, I'm sure there was 10 players came up from Selkirk Youth Club last year in the summer there, so as Robin alludes to, it's great to see those youngsters making the mark up to the Premiership.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring in Kelly Mitchell now, who'll be doing some camera duties for us today, this afternoon. And the reason why is because today at 4 o'clock in the Dam Health Stadium in Edinburgh, a local woman will be winning her 50th cap for Scotland, and that's Chloe Rowley, and that's some achievement, isn't it?
That's an amazing achievement, especially when you look at how she started her career. So as you alluded to, she's winning her 50th cap this afternoon at 27 years old as well. So she actually started at an outside centre back in 2015 against France, and she made the transition to full back, and since then she has made that jersey her own. She is I would say one of the best full back players in women's rugby I've ever seen. She's elusive, quick feet, and very, very strong. She doesn't look strong, but she's naturally strong, and she always seems to make ground. The only difference I would say would be just she needs to vary her game a little bit, so she tends to kind of either do one or the other quite a lot. But considering she's, as you said, a local lass from Jedburgh, you know, she's been brought up round about the border circuit. She played for Melrose Ladies as well before going up to Edinburgh, and she's now actually playing out of Exeter Chiefs. So she's got vital experience there, not only in 15s but certainly in 7s as well. And she's certainly an idol for young girls and, to be honest, young players around the world.
Of course, we've got 3 out of the borders, effectively, obviously Lana Skeldon and Lisa Thompson as well from Hawick. And with Chloe Rowley as well, you would think that women's rugby in this area would actually be a lot stronger than it is.
Yeah, so as you said, I mean, Lisa Thompson and Lana Skeldon are both going to be playing in both Hawick girls, so which is evident for today's game as well. And a wee start that Lisa has actually started all 45 games that she's been capped for. So she is another fantastic player. But as you said, women's rugby back in about 2012, 2013 I would say, was starting to grow. And the SRU have actually announced that they're going to be putting in about another 2 million into the women's game in a 4-year strategy, and hopefully setting up 2 semi-professional clubs, which I think is absolutely fantastic. The plan is for them to then work alongside a cross-border tournament, so playing against English sides, where a lot of the Scotland women players play at the moment in the Premier 15s down in England. So you've got, as I said, Chloe Rowley at Exeter, you have Lisa at Sale, and you've got Lana who's at Worcester. So they've had to travel to get, you know, quality, you know, high intensity rugby. And unfortunately that's not in Scotland just now, but if this plan that the SRU are proposing comes off, then there's no reason why it can't. They're looking to amalgamate between Premiership clubs and universities to make those you know, the clubs up, the professional clubs up, and I think it is a good way, but what they need to look at is they need to look right back at the grassroots, look at the schools and the clubs, get the girls involved, get them started at the mini rugby, because that's where, you know, Lana started, that's where Lisa started, that's where Chloe, they all started at mini rugby, and that's where you grow to love the game, is when you start young and you just follow it all the way through.
Okay, and of course, a little mention for Kelso ladies as well. They were playing national rugby last season, and you were obviously in charge as head coach. You've stepped away from that because you're doing so many other things, but they're still competing, but they're in a new regional league. Tell us about that. Yes,
so because of the lack, to be honest, the lack of numbers on women's rugby in the borders, as we've mentioned, the recruitment is quite difficult for women's rugby in the borders. So they won the league twice on the trot in 2016 2017, 2018 off the top of my head. And we felt a natural progression when we were given the opportunity to go up to National 1. But with COVID hitting, players getting older, can find another interest in things, the numbers kind of dwindled ever so slightly. So they've taken that decision to drop back into a regional and playing games against Edinburgh clubs and further afield, and trying to do a recruitment process as well and find the enjoyment for the rugby again. Kelso have actually got a fantastic under 14 and under 16 girls growing. They've got about 30 girls almost every week training. They're actually at gala for a kind of wee competitive tournament tomorrow, and it's fantastic to see. So in 2-3 years time, those girls are going to naturally be stepping up into the women. So Kelso have done really, really well to grow their own, and there's some girls that watching that can be future stars if they continue to play.
Well, we certainly look forward to a healthier future for ladies rugby. Thanks so much indeed to Kelly Mitchell, who's on camera duties today, as we said, and you can see highlights of the game between Hawick and Selkirk, which kicks off at 3 o'clock on Borders Rugby Television tomorrow. But let's bring back Robin Purdie and Andrew Fleming, and a couple of things to talk to you about. The Border League format, obviously, which seems to be working this year. We've got the 3 Premiership teams doing a round robin, and of course by 2 weeks' time we'll know who's in the final from the Premiership, and then we've got the other 4 teams from National 1 and 2 in the Border League, and that means we're guaranteed a National 1 or National 2 team in the final.
Yeah, I actually don't think there's that much of a gulf between the teams at the top of National 1 and some of the teams in the the lower reaches of the Premier. You'd fancy that to be Melrose or Gala. And yeah, I don't think there's too much of a disparity. I mean, we've seen the final here last season only a few months ago. It was a fairly close run thing between Hawick, a full strength Hawick team, and a Kelso team from the division below, and Hawick were very much on the ropes at the end of that game, and they actually did well to cling on and lift the title. So yeah, the Border League continues to have its place. I think the new format this year will certainly help the competition, the double headers, if you like. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
What about you, Andrew, on that?
Similar. I mean, I was here as well for that Border League final just a few months ago between Hawick and Kelso, and obviously on form you would have gone with Hawick, who obviously reached the playoffs of the Premiership against Kelso, who had a fairly solid National 1 campaign, but maybe fell away at the end there. But as Robin said, there really wasn't much to choose between the teams, and although Hawick started well, I mean, Kelso really grew into the game, and they were very close to snatching the victory there in the last play of the game. So I think it's a good opportunity for the national clubs to obviously compete for a Border League final. As you alluded to, one of them will make that final against the Premiership outfit, and I think that'll be a great chance for them to showcase what they can do.
Brilliant. Well, we'll be joining Andrew and Robin, our commentary team, a little bit later on. 3 o'clock kick-off here at Mansfield Park. It's Hawick against Selkirk. But after the break, we're going to meet up with the new director of rugby at Selkirk, and that is Martin Murray.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Hello, this is George Ingalls here, and I'm thrilled that my songs are now available on 2 albums, Anthology and Lockdown Blues.
Late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear.
Both available on iTunes to download and stream.
I am the train, been gone since '69.
George Ingalls Anthology and Lockdown Blues. Check them out now on iTunes and other digital sites.
To commemorate the 7th anniversary of the opening of the Borders Railway, an 8 DVD box set is now available, featuring the complete series Borders Railway from start to finish, plus the full hour-and-a-half documentary 5 Years On, which examines the possibility of an extension to Carlisle, plus extra features including a cab journey along the entire Borders Railway, all for the special price of just £14.99, including post and packing. You can get your copy direct from hotdisc.co.uk/shop. That's hotdisc.co.uk/shop. The 8 DVD box set, The Complete Borders Railway, is available now.
This is Borders Rugby Special on Borders Rugby Radio with Stuart Cameron.
Well, things are building up nicely as we head towards 3 o'clock. It kicks off at 3, but after meeting the Director of Rugby of Hawick, which we did a couple of days ago, which was John Hogg, let's speak now to Selkirk's new Director of Rugby, Martin Murray, who I caught up with a few days ago.
I've been abroad for a few years, coaching and also in the committee at Doha Rugby Club. So coming back, it was a natural progression to be back involved in the rugby club here in the town. A good year coaching the seconds last year, and we're trying to redistribute the limited resources that all border clubs have. So Ewan Robbie is concentrating much more on youth development, and it freed up the Director of Rugby post and allows me to use some of my administration skills to try and get things right around rugby and on the pitch.
Front row cover is vital, isn't it, these days? And you've made a few good signings, including Ewan McQuillan in the front row, who will certainly do a job for you. Absolutely
right. We've looked to bolster the squad by enhancing what we already have in local talent. I think we've encouraged people to come for the right reasons. We're a club who's motivated as much as possible to stay in that Premiership. It's vital for ourselves, and I think for Borders Rugby that happens, as many border clubs in the top division as we can. So we've targeted our recruitment based around what we needed to augment the squad.
And people like James Head and in the backs Kieran White, that's going to be exciting to see them take the field in the Selkirk jersey once again.
Absolutely. Well, Kieran's played previously, so exciting to see him come back. And James Head is also helping us on the coaching side by enhancing our line-out play. So it's all in all, both two really good signings.
So what's your kind of main role as Director of Rugby? What do you get your teeth into most?
Really, my role is to support Scott and what he needs to have a successful season. He's our head coach and is tasked with getting the boys to perform on the park. But really there's a lot of work goes on around that. It's having the right management structure, the right medical structure, physio support. All that stuff needs to be organised and needs to be there on hand to make sure the players are in a tip-top condition. We expect these amateur players to play at professional level, and so it's really important for the club to make sure we have given them every opportunity to do that as possible.
So what about the preparations for this season? Obviously it's difficult when you've got 3 sevens tournaments, so you've got to put a slightly less strong team out for the Gala and the Hawick sevens, like everybody as well, because 15s is number one priority.
I would say it's difficult for all the border clubs to get to batch our sevens and the 15s. There just doesn't seem enough weekends in the season anymore. I don't know whether that's just because the SRU has different priorities, but they've definitely put a lot of focus on 15s cups and hopefully in a couple of seasons at the district rugby. But it still puts a lot of pressure then on the border sevens. It's probably the main money spinner for every border club, and we want to make those as successful as possible. And we want to support the other border towns when they have their sevens. But having 3 tournaments at the beginning of the season is really difficult.
OK, that's Martin Murray, the new Director of Rugby at Selkirk. Well, it's Hawick against Selkirk coming up in the Premiership, which doubles as a Board League game too, but also in the Premiership today. Our other Borders team, Jed Forrest, have a big match against the team who finished top of the table last season before the playoffs, and that's Purdie. Andrew Brown is the new head coach at Jed Forrest. I caught up with him yesterday to see how their preparation for the season was coming along.
Pre-season's gone well, and it's and there's plenty of competition for players.
Now, of course, the decision was made to pull out of the Hawick and Gala Sevens tournaments. What was the reasoning behind that? Because obviously you are focusing on the 15s.
Yeah, purely just because of the focus on the 15s. Obviously, the new coaching team coming in, we wanted to focus on the 15s and have as big a squad as possible to do that.
You did beat Concert quite comfortably, nearly 100 points, in fact, and also Morpeth. How did you assess those 2 games?
Yeah, the Concert game was probably a little disappointing, but the lads stuck to the structure, which was a good thing. You know, once you start scoring a lot of points, then it's quite easy to go off script and just play a bit ad hoc. So sticking to the structure was good to see. The new lads came in and they've fit in really well. Matthew's a lad from Cumbria, and I've known him for quite a while, so he's a big guy. It is only going to be beneficial to the club. The Morpeth game we got quite a lot from the Morpeth game, to be honest. They were a big, strong pack and quite physical boys, so it was a good test.
Now, you mentioned big boys. It's very rare to have them at Jed. So obviously bringing a little bit of bulk in the pack is going to be a big thing. And it's good to see Paulo Ferreira still involved.
Yeah, Big P is good. He's great to have around the club. All the lads think very highly of him, and his contribution is massive.
What about the other people who've come in this time?
Lewis Walker, the young Aussie lad. He's a breath of fresh air, just coming in. He's got all the talent and likes to be able to use it.
And we had a glimpse of him last season, of course, and towards the sevens as well. He's certainly some player, very much in the mould of the young twins.
Yeah, well, obviously I don't really I don't have a lot of experience with the young twins, but looking forward to getting that partnership together on the field.
Absolutely. And of course you can confirm that although the boys have been playing a little bit of football, they're very much Jed Forest players, and they will be playing a part later on in the season.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the team then for Currie, because it's a formidable task. Anyone playing away at Currie at the best of times, it's going to be a challenge. But getting them on the first day of the season might work in your favour.
That's the task that's in front of us. To be honest, we're going to Currie, and the way I see it is the pressure's on them. They're going to be the ones that are under the spotlight to perform at home, first game of the season, and that's the challenge that's in front of us.
A change of style in management as well, which always happens when a new coaching team comes in. How have the players bought into your style of coaching?
I think that the boys are buying into it. That there's a good vibe around the training. There's a good vibe around the camp. That the lads enjoy training. We're getting good numbers down. And when we play our games, we're sticking to the structure that's in place. So it must be getting in there somehow.
And of course, you're working with Mark Lee as well, a former Jed Forest player. How's that working out?
Yeah, Mark's just a great guy, and his knowledge is so valuable. Just his presence, it's helpful.
And a new captain as well, in Clark Skeldon, a man with plenty of experience of being round Jed.
Yeah, Skelly's great. Obviously, he has the respect to the boys, and he's a good rugby player. He's really active and he's really busy. He's a clever rugby player.
Now, of course, the first day of the season can always bring up loads and loads of surprises, and it's not really, I suppose, till the third or the fourth game of the season that it's a bit. I always describe it as like the 4x400 metres relay. The stagger doesn't really unwind until you get 4 or 5 games into it. I guess that will be the same for you. I mean, everybody, it's like a clean sheet to start, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the unknown for me, I mean, obviously the players have been in the Premiership for a few years now, but for me it's the unknown, and I go into these games with no preconceptions. We just focus on ourselves because we can't affect what the other team do.
Well, look, we wish you all the best for the Currie game. We'll be there, obviously covering it, and we look forward to a good performance from Jed, and of course a great season. And no doubt we'll be talking to you. In fact, covering the Jed match against Hawick next week. So we'll catch up with you then.
Thank you, Stuart.
So that is Andy Brown, who is the new coach of Jed Forest, who are playing at Currie today. Well, Neil Hinnigan is the Director of Rugby of Kelso, and the head coach at Peebles is Ian Chisholm, and they've got a big Border League Pool B derby today. We'll be talking to our reporter Sam Matthews a little bit later on about that, but let's have a little word with both of them, starting with Neil Hinnigan.
We've prepared fairly well, and we had a good run out last week against Heriots up there. We got a win, but it'll be probably a tougher ask this week. Go to the Guides. We know they're going to be well up for it under Ian Chisholm being there now. He's breathed new life into them, and they were a bit unlucky last year with injuries and so forth. I think realistically Peebles are definitely a top 4 National 2 team, probably a team in waiting for National 1 again. Yeah, it's never easy at the Guides. Kelso haven't got a great recent history at the Guides, not won many times up there. So, yeah, we're going to have to be switched on and just get into our systems as quick as we can. Being as early as in pre-season as it is, we need to get that settled side and try and play a bit. We've got a little bit sort of movement in the back row. For last week, we've lost 2 or 3 players through different things. So there's a bit of a youthful outlook in the forwards, and that's good. It's good for progression for them. They'll learn a lot. Go to Peebles to play against a border team, a border derby. They're the things you learn the most in down this way is playing in their games. So we obviously done well in the Border League last year. We just narrowly lost out in the final to Hawick, and we took a lot of pride in what we were doing in the Border League last year. It was a respect thing. We wanted to get back from the rest of the Borders and the rest of Scottish Rugby. Kelso had to target the Border League to gain that, was to beat teams around us. And I think listening to Cheg's interview last week, their Peebles are now looking to do that. They want to stamp their mark on other Border rivals and get that respect back. And you know, we're fully expecting that to be a bit of a battle royal come Saturday, and really good preparation for our National 1 game against Aberdeen the week after. If you can get a Border derby in pre-season, that just gets the rough edge back into everyone. And you know, there's never at this stage of the season it's supposed to be sort of friendlies, but there is no friendlies in a Border derby. So yeah, one we're looking forward to. And we'll see how we get on.
At the start of the season, we made a goal that we wanted to make a final in the Kings of the Sevens. We didn't really expect it to come this quick. There was obviously good opportunity here with Selkirk and Accies having games elsewhere. As a club, we want to be taken seriously. So another goal is win respect. Because I think for a lot of the time we've been a bit of the whipping boys, and look, over the 3 tournaments we've picked up points, and we're working away up that Kings of the Sevens table, and it's piquing interest, and it's making the boys work a wee bit harder. So look, I'm really chuffed with today. Final a wee bit different. It's hard, especially when you have 20 minutes rest. And the People's boys aren't used to playing 4 ties, so it makes a wee bit of a difference. But at the same time, I'm really chuffed with how we stuck in today. They're a really good bunch of lads. They've been really welcoming to me, and they're really buying into what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach them my way of rugby and my way of thinking about the game, and they don't question anything, which is maybe a problem in itself. But I'm really chuffed with how things are going at the moment.
Well, they're a good bunch of lads, as you say, and they're obviously working for you.
Absolutely, and they're making themselves available. And in the past, that's not happened. They've had to scrape together teams, and we want to be taken seriously, and we want to take the Kings of the Sevens seriously. And anything that we can win, we want to have a go at winning, even if it's out of our reach.
Well, it's the first time we've had 3 pre-season Kings of the Sevens, so that stops now. There's a great big gap until April, but you'll be kind of, chomping at the bit, waiting to have another go for the second part.
Absolutely, but we've got a big 15 season to come, and the club are really aspirational on and off the field. We've got Cartha on the 3rd of September, and we've got Kelso in the Border League. We want to push boundaries with how we're going to try and play, and that requires a bit of a change of mindset for these boys. But again, like I said earlier, they're buying into it. They're a really, really good bunch of boys, and they're coming in big numbers to training and working hard. So I'm really chuffed with today and our past 3 tournaments, but also how we're prepping for the 15th season.
Whilst you have to talk about the Border League, which is coming up very, very shortly against Kelso, and you'll be fancying your chances.
It's hard to tell. We've not had an opportunity to stress test it with, I don't think it's rained in Peebles for about 2 years, so we've been reluctant to do any full contact. Kelso will be an opportunity for us to stress test where we are and get a good marker. But again, Peebles fought really, really hard to get into the Border League, and we don't want to take that for granted. Again, it's something that we could potentially win. Maybe not this year or the year after, but we want to give it our full noise if we can.
And how important is the Border League to the club?
I'm not really sure, if I'm honest. It's important to me. It's important that we win respect through that and through how we play and how we approach it. I've been at a couple of different clubs, and those places in different areas of the country would kill for something like the Border League. We just need to make it fit in a little bit better.
Well, we certainly wish you all the best. You've got some, a little bit of silverware, some silver medals to go back to the Gites with you, and obviously kicking off the season next week. Good luck.
Thanks guys.
That's Ian Chisholm, the head coach of Peebles, and before that Neil Hinnigan, the director of rugby at Kelso. Both of them playing against each other in Border League Pool B, which is where we're going right now. And joining us is our reporter Sam Matthews. Sam.
Yes, thank you, Stuart. I am here at the Gites to watch these 2 teams take on each other. Peebles have welcomed Kelso to the Gites. Kick-off is just over 10 minutes away. As you said, it will be an interesting tie. Can Ian Chisholm take his new Peebles side to their first 15th victory of the season, or can the names synonymous with Kelso over the years, Murray Hastie, Andy Tate, the McNeil brothers, come in and disrupt the welcoming party for Ian Chisholm? The game will also be having a moment's silence for both teams, who have sadly lost stalwarts of their clubs over this past week. Kelso legend Arthur Hastie sadly passed away this week. He was captain of the club, chairman of the club, and he was also Scotland team manager, including during that infamous 1999 Five Nations Trophy lift as the Scotland team manager. Peebles as well, also sad to say that Donald Swanson passed away this week, a true legend of the town and the club itself. He actually received a British Empire Medal for his service to rugby in the town of Peebles. this game's going to be bringing you all the updates. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Peebles versus Kelso in the Border League. Back to the team at Mansfield Park.
Thanks very much indeed to Sam, live at the Gates for us this afternoon, and we're live at Mansfield Park. We're not far away now, just over 10 minutes away to kick off, and the boys are limbering up here. We've got Andrew Fleming, and we've also got Robin Purdie, our commentary team for today. Let's talk a little bit about the Border League then. Robin, the decision was made obviously this season to group all the Premiership together. We kind of touched on it earlier, but at least we're going to get the thing finished, aren't we?
That's it. It was a wee bit farcical at times, dare I say, last season. But you're absolutely right. The games are going to get played, and that's only a good thing. Premier teams in one pot, national teams in the other. I'm actually going to pull myself up for something that I mentioned earlier on when I said it would likely be between Gala and Melrose emerging from that pool. That is a complete disservice to Kelso, who were there or thereabouts in the league, and they got to the final of this the Border League last season. So to Neil Hinnigan, I apologise, but yeah, it's great. It just emphasises that pot in itself, any of those teams can come up, and Ian Chisholm, as you mentioned, or as he said, there's at Peebles now, and as Neil Hinnigan mentioned, Peebles will be looking to gain that respect now as well, in the same way that Kelso have done. Kelso, in my opinion, an upwardly mobile club, and it's going to be interesting to see who emerges from that pool of the Border League.
And what about you, Andrew, on that one?
Yeah, I mean,
because you're a Kelso boy,
I'm a Kelso boy,
final.
and it was very pleasing to see Kelso make the final last year and pushed Hawick all the way here at Mansfield Park just a few months ago. As you mentioned, the three Premiership teams in a group together, and obviously this game this afternoon between Hawick and Selkirk will go a long way to deciding who goes to the final from this group. And the national one, or the national group, between Peebles and Kelso. Form woods, and obviously you would think Kelso would get the job done today, but I mean Peebles are on the up, and obviously Ian Chisholm involved now is a great bit of business for them, and they're certainly moving in the right direction. And the Gala and Melrose still to come as well. So no, it's great to have the Border League back and firing, and there should be some good matches to come.
Now, Robin, the National Cup involves Premiership and National 1 teams. The Shield contested by the regional sides, but there's no competition for the National 2 and National 3 clubs, which means there'll be no Berwick to defend the title, in fact, and there's no Peebles either. It seems a bit odd to me.
Well, it's going to take a more knowledgeable man than me to come up with a reason for that. To be honest, that seems absolutely farcical, for want of a better word, that there are two divisions, and divisions towards the upper end of the pyramid as well, that are going to have no cup rugby when all the other leagues are going to be involved in a cup. It just makes no sense to me, Stuart.
Well, National Shield is happening today. We were supposed to be seeing a fixture between Hawick, Lindeen and Dunbar, but Dunbar couldn't field a team, so it looks like Hawick Lindeen will get an automatic win in the column there, and they'll go through to play the winners of Ross High and Portobello. And of course the other match was in, I'm just trying to remember who it was, in fact it was Langham, wasn't it? Langham against Forrester, and Langham couldn't produce a team for Forrester today, and Duns do have a bye, so they're automatically into the second round. Well, last weekend there was the completion of the first 3 legs of the Kings of the Sevens at the Marooned Gala event. It was hosts Gala who won, beating a very plucky Peebles side in the final. Apart from their own sevens, so this was only the second time that they'd reached a K7s final in their history, following their appearance in the final of the 2002 Hawick event. So a great achievement for them to currently hold down 4th position in the table. But let's hear from Ben Gill, who scored 6 tries on the day for Gala. A real big achievement for him.
It's a great feeling. Like I say, the young boys, they've been doing fantastic, like in the sevens. The under 18s have been amazing, so to see them all get winners' medals today, it's a great feeling, and for us to get over the line as well. So.
And what does that do for the club pre-season? Because that's what we are.
It's great. It's fantastic. Like, we had a game cancelled last week, so we wanted to get a bit of 15s action, and not getting that, it's a bit unfortunate. But to get a win today, that really kind of puts us in a good mood for the start of the season coming. So
there was obviously disappointment last year when Heriots just pipped you agonisingly to the Premiership, but you've been able to regroup, and now you can really go all guns blazing, try and get that title this year.
Exactly. We're going to try and push on this year. We've had a few changes in the team, coaching, that sort of thing, but the set of boys that we've got, there's a lot of heart in them, and it shows in the games that we had last season, and I think if we bring that again this year, then we'll have a good one.
A lot of boys at training as well.
The guys that don't necessarily get into the team every week, they're the crucial ones. Come down and helping us at training. That's what matters. So it's good for that.
Well, let's talk about this 7th season, and it's been a particularly good one for you. Lots of tries, lots of good tries as well, and more today for you. How are you enjoying your rugby?
I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, 7s. It's just a completely different game, isn't it? Started breaking into the team last year, getting a bit more 15s action, but the 7s is what I was looking forward to. Get a bit more space, a bit more chance to run about, so that's always good.
And it was a tough pull to come through. You had to dispose of Hawick and also one of the two Scots teams, so you got there, and then obviously a tough semi-final, but in the final it all came your way.
Yeah, exactly. This always seems to be the army teams we come up against, but they're absolute grueler of a match, but I say we've got the quality that we can just get through those type of games. I think we showed that today. We didn't really look too uncomfortable today. I thought we dominated pretty much every game. A few hiccups along the way, but I say especially shows in the final, we really dominated and we showed what we can do.
So there we are, that was Ben Gill, star of Gala last week in their win in the 7s. We're just 5 minutes away now from the big match, Hawick against Selkirk. We've got Robin Purdie here and of course Andrew Fleming as well. So boys, over to you.
Yeah, the stand is filling up nicely here on what is a glorious day at Mansfield Park. Stuart, we could not have asked for better conditions to kick off the meaningful league season, and yeah, as we alluded before, it's almost going to be a clash of styles here. Hawick a bit heavier, a bit more forward orientated, while still having a very sharp set of backs. But yeah, you fancy Selkirk are going to have to move it about a bit. Andrew, they look just a wee bit more lightweight.
I would say so, yeah. I mean, look, we all know about the Hawick pack, and very powerful, and you look through that lineup, there's like the Dalton Redpath returning from the Southern Knights is a huge boost for Hawick in that second row. And yeah, they're known for their pack, they're known for their strength, and especially their home form as well. Unbeaten here at Mansfield Park last year in the Premiership, and Selkirk will have their work cut out. But as we've spoken about already, they, despite losing both matches against Hawick last season, they came away with losing bonus points from both, so there wasn't a huge lot between the teams last year. And yeah, we'll see how this game goes.
Yeah, and it's Hawick at home here, and Hawick, they got to the semi-final, or they got to the playoff semi-finals, where they were fairly narrowly beaten by eventual champions Mar. And I just look at this Hawick squad, and I just see them being right there again come the business end of the season. And I look at the fixture list. The last 3 rounds of the kind of first half of the season is Mar at home, Curry away, and the always tricky Glasgow Hawks. Hawick don't play those teams until a good 7, 8, 9 games time, and I think that Hawick could have a lot of W's on the board by the time they come round to what are probably perceived to be the other league sort of candidates, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great chance for them to build momentum in these opening few weeks. You couldn't really ask for a better start to the season. Border Derby, and as you mentioned already, the stand's filling up, and everybody here looking forward to a feisty Border Derby, as it always is. And obviously we've got a few games next week as well. Jed welcome Hawick to Riverside, and then there's a few Border Derbies coming up, and it's a great start to the season. Great to have 15s rugby back, and Hawick, as you say, would expect to with home advantage to potentially nick the result today, but no, Selkirk are going to come out all guns blazing, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we spoke about Hawick's fixture list. Selkirk are obviously here today, and an away fixture for them to get up and running, but they've got, they've said before, Glasgow Hawks are always tricky, but they can blow hot and cold, particularly on the road. Selkirk will be targeting Glasgow Hawks next week at home, and then Selkirk have got another home game against Jed, so Selkirk will have an eye on some victories as well, potentially.
They will, and it's very difficult to know what kind of Jed Forest to expect at the start of the season. They're away to Curry today, and for the first time in as long as I can remember without a Lewis or Gregor Young in the squad, so with a new coaching staff as well at Jed Forest, so it's difficult to know what to expect from them. So I think with both Hawick and Selkirk to face them in the next couple of weeks, it's a lot to play for, and as you said already, Hawick could really have a statement of intent here as the teams come out onto the park. Selkirk led out by captain Luke Petty.
Yeah, and the sevens are finished until April. The pre-season friendlies have been and gone. It is League Rugby from the Tenants Premiership live on Borders Rugby Radio, and there is no better place to get us up and running than the home of Scotland's most successful club. Your teams this afternoon are as follows. For Hawick, Lewis Ferguson returns at fullback with Logan Gordon-Woolley and Ronan McKean on the wings. An interesting looking centre partnership sees the powerful Andrew Mitchell start outside the Selkirk Ford, with Kyle Brunton replacing Ford at 10. 17-year-old Hector Patterson starts his first game for Hawick at 9. Up front, hooker and captain Matty Carrier is joined by props Sean Muir and Rory McLeod, while the returning Dalton Redpath partners Robbie Linton in the Boiler House. In the back row, flankers Stuart Graham and Connor Sutherland packed down either side of number 8 Jay Linton, so impressive last season before a serious neck injury. And for Selkirk, Matt Reid's a new signing from Gala at fullback, and he'll be supported in the back three by wingmen Henry Clarkson and Fraser Anderson. In the centres, the guile of Ryan Cottrell will be accompanied by the more direct approach of Andrew Grant Sutty, with Ryan Nixon and Jack Hamilton at 10 and 9 respectively. Up front, captain Luke Petty packs down at prop alongside James Bett and Zenon Shivajak, easy for me to say. Andrew Cochrane and James Head form a new look second row, with Head being well known to Melrose and Southern Knights fans. And an all-action back row is made up of hard-working flankers Andrew McComb and Scott McClyment, alongside the precociously talented youngster Monroe Job at number 8. The man in the middle this afternoon is going to be Sam O'Neill, and he'll be ably assisted by his ARs Gordon Galashan and Mark Welsh. So, Andrew Fleming, first game of the season, no real form to go off. Give us a prediction.
Tough one to call. I mean, both teams are going to be going at it right from the kick-off, but I think Hawick with home advantage, I would expect to nick the win, but yeah, I'd say Hawick by 5 points.
Hawick by 5 is the prediction of Andrew Fleming, and it's going to be Kyle Brunton to get us underway. Hawick attacking from right to left, attacking the clubhouse end, and that's gathered in by the Selkirk forwards. Tackled just outside their own 22. Looking for the first exit. It's going to be scrum half Jack Hamilton. He puts it high in the air, and the returning Jay Linton's underneath this, just inside his own half. Jay Linton beats the first challenge, and Jay Linton's on the charge, but that's a big challenge by James. No, I beg your pardon, it's Zenon Zvagrak, the ex-Pontypool player. He played for Poland against the Netherlands in 2020, and yeah, great to see Jay Linton straight back into it, Andrew. Yeah,
it looks like he means business straight away. Great gather there, and he's went down the touchline hoping to make inroads, but yeah, great tackle, and Selkirk with the line out. So it's a line out to Selkirk on their own 10. James Bett throws in, and that's a clean line out. So it's out to Ryan Nixon. Here come the Selkirk forwards round the corner, caught on their own 10 however. And here they come again. Nixon out to Cottrell. He's got dancing feet, Ryan Cottrell, but he's wrapped up by Andrew Mitchell. Selkirk phases here, but not making much territory, still camped around their own 10-yard line. Caught behind the gain line this time, but maintaining possession. Here comes Nixon. Nixon out the back door to Grant Sutty. Now he only knows one way. He's been really impressive in the sevens, particularly in the spring part of the series. And here come Selkirk again hemmed inside their own 10-metre line, not making any headway at the moment. It's going to be Hamilton, the scrum half, again to Nixon. Nixon goes, he finds Luke Petty, the captain. He's supported by James Head. Now Nixon's going to put it down the park. Has he put too much on that, Nixon? Yes, he's put it out on the full, so a lot of huff and puff by Selkirk there, but they're going to go back for a line out, Andrew. They are, yeah. Hawick ferocious at the breakdown right from the start. They're keen to get right up in the faces of the Selkirk opponents, and yeah, you see Ross Nixon forced into the error there, going for touch, but out on the full, and Matty Carrier will have a line out here just 10 metres away from that 22-metre line. Yeah, Matty Carrier, the free scoring hooker, 9 tries for Hawick last season, made him the joint top scorer along with Ronan McKean on the wing. So it's Carrier, Hawick just outside the Selkirk 22. Now has that remained straight? I think James had snaffled that. He has indeed, so it's going to be Selkirk possession. That's a disappointing outcome from an attacking line out for Hawick. Hamilton now puts up the box kick. Who's under this? It's Ronan McKean, the sprinter. McKean has a look and goes infield. Good tackle by Fraser Anderson on McKean. Now the Selkirk players are over that, and that's going to be the first penalty of the afternoon. The shrill of the whistle there, and it's going to be a penalty to Selkirk just outside the Hawick 10, and Selkirk will be happy with that, Andrew. Yeah, I think it was Scott McClyment who won the turnover there, and Yeah, obviously voted Selkirk's player of the season and Players' player of the season last year after an impressive campaign, and right from the start causing havoc at the breakdown. And it's an important penalty as Selkirk kicked the touch and have their first possession just on that Hawick 22.
Yeah, signal of intent from Selkirk. They've kicked that out rather than taking an attempt at the post, so it's going to be a Selkirk line out right on the Hawick 22. It's James Bett, Scotland Club International. Will he look for James Head? He does indeed. James Head's at the tail, and that's cleanly taken by James Head. Now the drive is on the rumble from the Selkirk pack as they inch into the Hawick 22. Has that been pulled down? The referee's arm comes up. Indeed it has. So advantage being played. The chip and chase. It was a free play for Selkirk, but the referee is going to bring them back, and you'd imagine, Andrew, this will be the first crack at the posts.
I would imagine so, yeah, as we see James Head walking back. Looks like they will take a shot at the post, but no, you say a statement of intent from Selkirk from the start. Yep, here we go, it will be a shot at the posts, and Selkirk will have the chance to go in front, but no, good dedication shown by both teams so far. I mean, Hawick causing havoc at the breakdown, but Selkirk are no mugs, and they've taken their first possession well and they have a chance at the posts. Yeah, it was a really tidy line out. The first line out of the day. James Bett got his arrows bang on. He found James Head at the tail of the line out. It's great to see James Head back in local rugby as well. 7 seasons at Melrose and a couple of seasons at the Southern Knights as well. He is going to be a very useful addition for Selkirk. He's also going to double up as the line-out coach, but yeah, he certainly made his knowledge felt on that occasion, and it's going to be Matt Reid, the recent signing from Gala, with a penalty. So he's right on the 22, possibly 8-9 yards to the right of the uprights, maybe 16-17 infield. He starts his run up, Matt Reid, and Matt Reid has split the sticks, and it's first blood to Selkirk, 3-0. It is, and that'll do Matt Reid a good confidence booster. As he mentioned, moved from Gala there in the summer, and yeah, Selkirk their noses in front.
Yeah, he's a good player. Matt Reid represented Edinburgh under-20s last season in the 1872 match against Glasgow at the Green Yards. He went well on that occasion. So it's going to be Hawick to get us back underway in the Mansfield sunshine. It's Kyle Brunton. Earned the 10 jersey today, which has seen Kirk Ford move into the centres. He's went deeper with that one, and it's been knocked on. And that's a real error there. The Selkirk player attempted to catch that. I think it was the scrum half, Jack Hamilton, who's attempted to catch that in his 22. He's fumbled it, and it's a tremendous attacking platform here for Hawick. It's a scrum 10-12 yards from the Kelso line, exactly 15 yards infield, and yeah, we see it so often. Points, you know, a team scores points, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a try, and then they cough up cheap possession. Scott White will be tearing his hair out.
He will be. No, as you say, once you've taken the lead, it's important that you try and build on that, or at least have a good clearance and, you know, build on the lead you've taken. But that's a very soft error to have, and Hawick will be looking to make the most of this scrum that's been 10 metres out from the try line. Yeah, and the first scrum of the season is going to be reset. Hopefully that is not the shape of things to come for this long campaign through the winter, but there's no winter conditions here today. It is as glorious a day as you'll see at Mansfield, and it's going to be young Hector Patterson to feed his first scrum in a Hawick number 9 jersey. He scored 27 tries for the Jed Thistle semi-junior team last season, and he's earned his shot at senior rugby. So the props come together, the front rows. Hawick in the ascendancy. Hawick scrum moving forward there. Jay Linton controlling it at the back. Patterson takes it, but he's wrapped up there by the back row. Patterson, is that going to come back, or is he going to be penalised? No, it's came back. Jay Linton's all power, and he carries it forward. He inches forward another metre or so. It's Patterson out to Dalton Redpath. Dalton Redpath's hands off the first man. He goes Hawick. Oh, it's been spilled forward by Redpath around 15 metres from the Selkirk post rather, and are Selkirk going to try and counter here? No, the referee's going to bring them back for a knock-on. Dalton Redpath's knock-on, and it's good to see Redpath back in the club game. It is, yeah. I mean, obviously he's had that experience at the Southern Knights, and he'll bring a lot of quality in that second row to Hawick, and you know, he's a towering figure, as is his opposite number, James Head, and both returned to club rugby from Super 6 and having played for the Southern Knights, and yeah, they're both towering figures as they stand out on the pitch as we look from the commentary box here, and yeah, Hawick with their first possession inside the Selkirk 22, but I think Matty Douglas will be disappointed they've coughed up possession so easily and so cheaply, but it'll be a scrum down and Selkirk put in.
Yeah, errors being made, which at this time of the campaign is to be expected. 8 minutes in, it's Selkirk 3, Hawick 0 if you're just joining us. And yeah, we mentioned Dalton Redpath there. His return's actually, it's timely for Hawick because Sean Fairbairn's out at the moment with a slight hamstring injury. They think that'll be maybe a week or two. And Rory Smith, last season's mainstay in the second row, he's left Hawick and moved to Dubai. So the water is on already. There is an injury here which is being tended to. It doesn't look too serious. Thankfully, you most certainly wouldn't want to see a player depart proceedings this early in the season. We're trying to get a view on who that is. No, that we're going to have to see in a second. But yeah, Andrew, it's the lungs will be, we're 8 minutes in, the lungs will be burning already. You'd have thought some of these players.
They will be, yeah. I mean, it's a glorious day for running rugby, but taxing as well. There's not much give in the air. And ferocious at the breakdown from both sides right from the kick-off, and after obviously having been out with Sevens campaign and just the pre-season, these first few hits and things will take a lot out of the players, and after a long break they'll be hurting tomorrow morning. Yeah, it was
Rory McLeod, the Hawick tight head, who is patched up and ready to go again. So it's going to be a set scrum, head and feed to Selkirk. Centre field probably 15 metres from their own posts. So they'll be looking for a tidy exit from this situation. It's going to be Jack Hamilton in his 19th game for Selkirk. 19 games, 1 try for the ex-Boroughmuir and Harrington man. As the front rows come together, Hamilton feeds and Hawick have got a little bit of a shunt on, but Selkirk have steadied the ship, and it's the youngster Munro job at the base of that scrum. It's a loose pass, but it's been picked up by, I think that was Matt Reid, and he's kicked out, and he's not made too much territory, and it's going to be a line out a metre or so outside the Selkirk 22, and more pressure coming from Hawick. Yeah, it is. I think it was Fraser Anderson that picked the ball up there in the right wing, and he was hoping to get more distance on that clearance, and he just found outside the 22, and disappointing to try and relieve the pressure, and they've not done that at all, and Hawick will be looking to build another attacking platform with yet another Matty Carrier line out. Yeah, Matty Carrier line out on the 22. Sean Muir comes over and whispers a word in his ear. So it's Carrier. Redpath's come to the front, and Redpath is successful with a take. Now, will a traditional Hawick rolling maul be seen here? No, Selkirk have done well to defend that, and that's been held up as well. So Selkirk are going to come up with a scrum now outside their 22 as James Head slaps the backs of his forward colleagues. And yeah, Selkirk have snaffled what Hawick have thrown at them so far. They have, yeah. I think it was Luke Petty and Munro Job that were involved there in helping secure possession. Good that they're able to cause havoc at the breakdown straight away. I mean, Hawick were looking to build an attacking platform, but Selkirk right in their faces, and that's what they need to do. Make sure that this Hawick pack, that they're obviously a club that are known for their pack, and if they can get onto them quickly and not allow them a chance to make inroads in that Selkirk defence, and that's on the way Selkirk can frustrate them and start to take the upper hand. Yeah, 11 minutes gone. 3-0 to Selkirk here at Mansfield. I think Scott White will be absolutely delighted. Selkirk have started really brightly, bar that spillage from the kickoff, but Hawick have got the shunt on there on that Selkirk scrum, and it's been mopped up by Selkirk, but it means that the standoff, Ryan Nixon's going to have to truck it up. He's done well, Nixon. He's made a couple of metres. He plays in the centre normally now. Speaking of trucking it up, here comes James Head. He steals another couple of metres. He's had a bright start to this game. Now Cottrell's shanked that off the right of the boot, and now has that been taken out it's been taken out of the 22 by Ryan Cottrell. So another unforced error by Selkirk again after a bright start. There's been a couple of errors in there that are just seeing them hemmed in and around their 22 at the moment. There has, and disappointing. Selkirk, you say, have started brightly, but it's just these silly errors are allowing Hawick to get back into the game, and Hawick will take confidence from the fact that they've not had to work too hard to get possession back, and it's just been these silly errors and cheap mistakes that, as you mentioned, won't be going down too well with Scott White and his coaching staff, but so far they've not had to cough up any points as a result of that, and they'll be looking to continue that in these next few minutes. Yeah, as the drinks come on again, there's another knock being taken. This time I think it's the big Selkirk tight head Zenon Zvagrak. As I said before, ex-Pontypool and Polish international, played against the Netherlands in 2020, but he's back up on his feet and is going to carry on. So the drinks depart, and it's going to be a Hawick line out here the third or fourth time already this game where the Hawick are going to have a line out right on the Selkirk 22. Selkirk have defended well so far, but the pressure possibly starting to tell. Hawick certainly had a lot of the territory in this game so far, and that's, but again it's been fumbled. It was Connor Sutherland at the tail line who attempted to take that, but it was knocked forward, and Selkirk are going to try and relieve the pressure here. As Hamilton, the scrum half, waits at the base. Hamilton, is he going to find his standoff? Nixon's dropped into the pocket. Now Nixon, that's a better kick from Nixon. Is it going to go out? No, it's gathered in by Ronan McKean, and he goes inside. First touch of the ball for Lewis Ferguson, returning to the club after a couple of years playing football. He went really well at the Hawick Sevens. Lewis Ferguson, he's been wrapped up on halfway, but Hawick have maintained possession. It's Patterson out to the burly figure of Sean Muir. 188th game in a Hawick jersey for him this season, and the kick's been put forward by Kyle Brunton, and it's going to be the fullback Matt Reid to be the recipient of that one. He puts it down the park towards the Hawk end. Now that's taken a bounce over the head of Lewis Ferguson. Is it going to go over the try line? No, it's not. So Ferguson is going to have to come back with it. Is he going to put boot to ball? No, he's going to run it back, and he's been caught there, Ferguson. But the Hawick numbers are in support. But Hawick now have found themselves deep inside their own 22, and it'll be them that's looking to exit. So good work with the boot from Selkirk has bought them territory. Hawick hitting it up through the forwards towards their own 22. Here's Carrier. He always seems to make yardage when he carries. Patterson in for that. Patterson comes back to Brunton
as the ref takes a tumble.
Yeah, Brunton sent it onto the banking, and that relieves the pressure as far as Hawick are concerned. It's going to be a Selkirk line out inside the Hawick 10-metre line, 5 metres or so, and Selkirk now with a bit of territory from which to build.
Yeah, and it was needed as well. As we said already, the few cheap errors in their own 22, but they'll be very glad it's not cost them any points so far. They still lead 3-0, and yeah, a good kick there from Matt Reid to relieve the pressure, and he was very fortunate with the bounce. Just the ball dropped just shy of the try line, which forced obviously Hawick fullback Lewis Ferguson to play the ball, and yeah, Selkirk have marched up a chunk of metres up the pitch, and they'll have a line out just over the 10-metre line, and a chance to build an attacking platform.
Yeah, Selkirk won the kicking duel on that occasion. It's going to be James Bett again to feed this line out. He's been on the money so far from the touchline this afternoon. And is it going to be James Head again? James Head calling the line out, coaching the line out, and winning the line out, and that's a good ball off the top, but it's been fumbled forward as the Selkirk player came through at pace, and they'll be again, Scott White will be disappointed with that. It was a good attacking platform from which to work, and they've copped up possession. It's going to be a scrum halfway between their 10 and their 22.
Yeah, I mean that'll be the most frustrating thing as a head coach. Obviously, the things you practice most are the set pieces and those line outs, and the moves that have been practiced for weeks now, and obviously first game of the season there's going to be that rustiness, but the set piece initially, when that doesn't work out, it's going to be frustrating. But yeah, we'll now see another scrum midway between the 10 and 22 here as Hector Patterson looks to put in. Yeah,
I wouldn't say one team's looked overly dominant at scrum time so far. Hawick have possibly had the edge based on what we've seen, but you're absolutely right. It's going to be young Hector Patterson, the 17-year-old, in his first game in a green jersey to feed the scrum. Jay Linton at the base of that scrum. Now that Hawick scrum is advancing forward ever so slightly. Is the referee's arm going to come out? No, Jay Linton has it at the base, and it's to Patterson. Patterson's put his foot to it. Is that going to go out on the full? No, it's bounced in field, and it's bounced back towards the Hawick players, but it's been gobbled up by Matt Reid, and Matt Reid's hacked it forward towards the Hawick 22, and Kyle Brunton juggles with it, and Kyle Brunton does the safe thing and takes it out into touch. So again, a broken play there, a wee bit here, I'm scared him, and that'll suit Selkirk just fine.
It will. As I say, you come to expect that first game of the season, there's going to be cobwebs, there's going to be rusty, so no, I mean Matt Reid's looked to be the beneficiary there with a wee grubber down the touchline, but Kyle Brunton forced to take the ball into touch, and Selkirk with another attacking line out, and James Head has been fantastic at the line out so far as he rises again. And
Cort Cursor, the commentator for you there, Andrew, as it went right over Head's head, and it was taken in gratefully by Matty Carrier, who's made 15 metres or so, almost up towards the halfway line. So here come Hawick. Sean Muir with a big carry, as is his wont. Patterson's in there for it now. It's Patterson to Brunton. Jay Linton runs the decoy run, and it's out to Ferguson, but Ferguson's dropped it. It's gone backwards, says the referee. Ronan McKean goes down on it and secures it for Hawick. Graham playing scrum half duties here, but he's going to leave it to Patterson. Patterson to Jay Linton. Jay Linton's hit hard there by James Head, who's really putting himself about early in the piece. Now Patterson waits for tidy possession, and here it comes, and Hawick have got a couple of men over on this near side, but no, good defence by Selkirk on, I think it was Kirkford. Now here goes Patterson. Patterson with a little snipe, and it's out. Oh, it was out there to McKean. McKean's going to take it in there, but he's been bundled into touch, so quite a lot going on there just in front of us, Andrew, and Hawick not really making any possession there.
No, they're not.
Or territory, I beg your pardon.
No, not made too much territory. I think it was Andrew Grant-Sutty there, centre, powerful centre with the hit that's taking the ball into touch, and he was a player I was very impressed with on the Kings of the Seventh circuit of the summer there. Very powerful runner, and he's physical at the breakdown too, and with if I can get the ball out to him, the likes of him and obviously Monroe Job at the back of the scrum, there's some powerful runners that can make inroads into this Hawick defence, and that's what they'll look to do from this pack. Next phase of play.
Yeah, and there's another injury here. I think it's Rory McLeod again. The trainer's on, so we're going to go to Stuart for an update.
Yes, latest scores: Curry 7, Jed Forest 0 at Millennium Park, and Mar have got a 14-0 lead against Muswell. And we can go to Mickey Yonota right now. He's watching the Southern Knights match against Boroughmuir Bears at Meggetland, and it's half-time there.
Half-time, Boroughmuir 21, Southern Knights 0. This was well balanced until a lengthy injury to Tom Lanny spurred the home side on. Knights more composed early on, going through the phases, met with staunch defending. In fact, Boroughmuir pushed them back. Defensively for Knights, Cammy Scott's clearing kick to the right, David Colvin to the left, eased pressure, but on 8 minutes, Tom Brown cut a swathe. Superb break, ignited Boroughmuir. They went through the phases, second row, Jack Fisher well positioned to go over, Jack Bergen converted. On 10, Callum Smith was sin bin for the Knights. An injury to Tom Lanny saw a very lengthy break. The Bears, though, grew in stature. Intense pressure, scrummaging well, resulted in Callan Ram scoring on 25. Slack defending, really. 5 minutes later, again a threat inside the 22. Replacement Scott Robertson going over in the corner. Bergen with his third conversion. But for defensive errors, this would have been tighter. Half-time, Boroughmuir Bears 21, Southern Knights 0.
And in fact, since that, it's got even worse for the Southern Knights. It's now 26-0. Back to the commentary.
Yeah, you join us here where Selkirk lost their line out in the Hawick half, and it's enabled Hawick to move 15 metres or so into the Selkirk half. There was some good play in there by Lewis Ferguson, the fullback. Now it's Patterson. Patterson to Brunton. Brunton with a long pass out to Stuart Graham. Stuart Graham to Jay Linton. Will somebody straight in for Hawick here? It's Kirkford. Kirkford's found a gap. Kirkford's got McKean. Ford to McKean, and McKean's going to be in for the first try of the game, the big winger, and that is a great try by Hawick, the first of the campaign.
It is, yeah. I think as you said initially, it was Lewis Ferguson in the middle of the park. It pirouetted out of a few tackles, and it was him that really gave Hawick the attacking platform there, and yeah, ball stripped out wide. Kirkford's made the break. He's used that space well, and out into Ronan McKean, obviously, as you mentioned, joint top scorer last year, and you don't stop him from there, and yeah, Hawick take the lead.
Yeah, the grateful beneficiary was Ronan McKean from a lovely little show and go break from Kirkford. We speak about Kirkford so often on Borders Rugby Radio, Borders Rugby TV. He was the architect for Hawick last season. They've moved him out one place in the back line to inside centre, but he was absolutely instrumental in that, and he has picked up very much where he left off.
He has, yeah. No, he had an impressive season last year in the Premiership, and I'm sure he was top point scorer. And as he looked to add the extras here, but no, a fantastic break from him. And as Hawick, they always have that attacking support, and support play was good from Ronan McKean on that left-hand side. And
yeah, and it's going to be Ford with the conversion attempt. He's pushed that to the right of the stick, so 5 points to 3 in Hawick's favour. 22 minutes into the first half here at Mansfield Park. Tennent's Premiership, Border League and the Border League points in the Bill McLaren Shield up for grabs today. Hawick winning that when Edinburgh Accies brought it to Mansfield midway through last season. So first blood in a try scoring sense to Hawick, and it's going to be Matt Reid, the Selkirk fullback, to get us back underway. Selkirk attacking from left to right. Not the greatest kick, but it's made decent territory, and it's been fumbled there by Brunton, but it's gone backwards, and Brunton's found a good touch, so he has sort of halfway between the Hawick 10 and the halfway line, so it's going to be another Selkirk line out just inside Hawick territory. And yeah, Andrew, I think both coaches will be pretty pleased with what they've seen so far.
Yeah, I would say so.
There's been errors, of course, but
there has been errors. But as you said already, you come to expect that from the first game of the season. Both sides have shown attacking prowess. I mean, Selkirk over the ball at breakdown and Hawick using that space well. So, no, I think both Matty Douglas and Scott White will have seen things they want to improve on, but things that will please them too. Yeah,
and it's going over, the line-out's going over James Head's head again, and now Dalton Redpath is in possession. Dalton Redpath up this near side, but he's been bundled into touch. He made good territory there, Redpath, but I'm not quite sure he was aware of where the touch line was, and he's gone into touch just outside the Selkirk 22.
It has, yeah. It was Matty Carrier that made the initial break there, and as you say, Dalton Redpath with the ball in hand is a frightening prospect for many defenders, but no, it was marshalled well into touch, and Selkirk will have a line out just outside their own 22 and a chance to try and relieve pressure.
Yeah, it's another Selkirk line out that had gone awry. It went over the head of the receiver, and it was gratefully snaffled up by Matty Carrier, and that's a couple of big trundles up the park for him so far in the first half. And another Selkirk line out this time. Bet does find Head right on the 22, the Selkirk 22, and Selkirk with a rolling maul, rolling infield here, makes a metre or two. Jack Hamilton now. Jack Hamilton has a snipe, and Jack Hamilton's found his winger coming down the touchline. That's Fraser Anderson. Now Selkirk up to the halfway line. In over the ball is Scott McClyman. Nixon comes in, plays scrum half. He finds Luke Petty, the captain, on halfway. Hamilton this time puts boot to ball, and it's gone over the head of Ronan McKean, and that is a canny little kick from Jack Hamilton, and now Selkirk are up into the Hawick 22.
Yeah, no, great, very good, intelligent kick there from Hamilton, as you say, over the head of Ronan McKean and finding that space, and it will be a Selkirk.
Yes.
A Selkirk put in, was it?
Yeah, it's going to be a Selkirk line out right on the Hawick 22. James Bett coming to the touchline with the instructions from his captain, Luke Petty. Luke Petty playing his 96th game in a Selkirk jersey this afternoon. 15 tries, which is no bad return for a prop. He's the ex-Gala man. He's also turned out for Scotland under 20s. Now more instruction comes to the touchline. James Bett, the Scotland club international, been in and around the Southern Knights in recent times as well. This time they go at the front, and it's taken in by Monroe Job, this athletic young number 8, very highly thought of young prospect. Now Selkirk trying to trundle this line out forward. It's at the tail. They've stolen a metre or so into the Hawick 22. Now it comes back to Hamilton. Hamilton to Andrew Grant Sutty. He's been well marshalled by the Hawick defence. That was Stuart Graham in with a tackle there, and there's a penalty coming here, and it's in a kickable position as well, so the indiscretion from Hawick at the breakdown, and it's going to be a penalty to Selkirk right on the Hawick 22, just to the right of the sticks.
It is, and yeah, great example there from going back a couple of phases from Jack Hamilton, the scrum half, in the first 50-22 of the season we've seen, and yeah, great use of that new rule brought in last season, and obviously Selkirk take the line out. They've gone through the phases, and infringement in the breakdown will allow them to attempt to go back in front here with a Matt Reid penalty.
Yeah, Matt Reid looking to bring up 2 from 2 in terms of kick penalties this afternoon. It's his first game in a Selkirk shirt, the ex-Gala man. This is a very kickable penalty, almost just in front, right on the 22. He has it teed up. So, taking his time, wanting to get this one just right, as you would expect. Starts his walk back. Takes one last look at the posts, begins his run up. Strikes the ball, and it's right between the sticks. So, Selkirk back in front, 6 points to 3. 13 minutes remaining, 6 points to 5, I beg your pardon. 13 minutes remaining in this first half.
Yeah, and I think Selkirk will be pleased to be in front at this stage in the game, and obviously, as we alluded to before kick-off, given the form last season, and especially the form Hawick had here, you would have fancied them to try and build a lead going into half-time, but no, Selkirk are right in their faces and making life difficult for the hosts, and as it proves so far, as Selkirk take a slender lead.
Yeah, and we're back underway. The kick-off from Kyle Brunton landed in and around the Selkirk 22, where we seem to have spent much of this match, but they've taken it now and stolen a couple of metres, and again it's the box kick from Hamilton. This time it's Jay Linton, the impressive number 8, underneath it. He's spilled it, but it's gone backwards now. Linton, is he going to mop up his own work? Oh, he's done really well, Linton. He's seen off the first man, but that's a great tackle by his opposite number, Monroe Job. But Linton gets up and goes again, and that's bought his own pack the time to get back round and support him. Now comes out to Connor Sutherland, this hard-working wing forward. Patterson now. Patterson feeds it out to Brunton, and Hawick looking to go out the line here. It's Ferguson. He's come in to play. He needs support, and I think that's Kirk Ford over that for Hawick. No, the referee's going to bring them back. There's a penalty there. I think that's going to be an indiscretion by Selkirk. Yeah, the arm goes out, and it's going to be a penalty to Hawick just inside their own 10-metre line, maybe 2 metres inside. So Kyle Brunton rather wanders over to the mark. He's going to put it down the touchline on this stand side. Brunton played so well for Hawick in their Sevens tournament, in which they were victorious a couple of weeks ago, and he's made a reasonable touch there. So it's going to be yet another line out just outside the Selkirk 22 on this stand side here at Mansfield, but it's going to be a Hawick line out this time. It's going to be Matty Carrier with the throw in, as the Hawick forwards have a confab and trundle up towards the mark. Sean Muir comes over to give his captain Carrier the code, and here comes Carrier. Where will this one go? Dalton Redpath in the middle of the line out, and it goes to Redpath. Redpath takes it cleanly out to Patterson. Patterson to Brunton, but Brunton's knocked it on and hacked it forward, and yeah, that's going to frustrate Matty Douglas. Hawick are just a wee bit stop-start at the moment. They can't really get going.
No, they can't, and obviously Matty Douglas told us before the match that Kyle Brunton will be very impressive in pre-season, and obviously he's been impressive enough to take that number 10 and shirt, and obviously Kirk Ford, last year's regular, has been moved into centre, but I think both Brunton and Matty Douglas will be disappointed with that one, as a chance to really launch an impressive attacking platform has gone to waste, and Selkirk will be quite happy just to be the beneficiary of these errors, and as they just look down the minutes until 10 minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, all credit to Selkirk. They're really taking the sting out of the Hawick attack. Hawick have had some really good attacking positions, but Selkirk have really spoiled things for them here in this first half. The opening day fixture at Mansfield, and that's going to be another reset scrum, a Selkirk scrum, 3-4 metres centre field inside their own 10-metre line, as the referee gives both front rows his thoughts on the matter. So Matty Carrier steps forward, awaits his props joining him, which they've now done, so we're hopefully going to get back underway. Certainly great conditions underfoot, no problems for the front rows in that regard here at Mansfield Park. Positively summer day here in the grey old toon. There's nothing grey about it today, that is for sure. Now that's a scrum penalty. Hawick have gone too early there with a hit, so it's a free kick, I beg your pardon. It's been taken quickly, and it's Cottrell with a chip over the defence, but it's been gathered in by Hector Patterson. He's done well. It's going to come back. Jay Linton's going to play scrum half here. Linton to Stuart Graham. He barrels it up. Patterson again at the base of this ruck. Patterson to Linton. That's Jay Linton. He seems to make metres every time he carries. Patterson again to Brunton. Oh, and that's been spilled again by Hawick in the midfield, and it's been knocked on for good measure, and now it's going to be a Selkirk 20 metres further up the park on Hawick's own 10-metre line, and it's error strewn by Hawick.
It is, yeah, and as I said, not what you come to expect. They usually fairly sound with ball in hand, and it's an experienced player like Sean Muir, you don't come to expect that, but yeah, Selkirk are obviously over half an hour gone now in this first half, and they'll be very pleased to be in front at Mansfield, and they've not had to work too hard for their points. It's been more the Hawick mistakes that they've come to capitalise on, and they'll be very pleased to be in front of it so far.
Yeah, Sean Muir with a knock on there, his 188th game in a green jersey for Sean Muir, and rest assured he has done a lot more good than bad in that time for certain. And there's been a substitute in the front row. There's been a substitution. It is Hawick prop Rory McLeod, who's come off. He has been replaced by Nicky Little, who comes on for his 115th outing. Had a stint at Melrose, been in and around the Edinburgh setup in his day, the vastly experienced Nicky Little, and there was an indiscretion there which resulted in a Hawick free kick, but Matty Carrier has decided to take another scrum, so we're going to reset exactly where we were, which is right on the Hawick 10-metre line, centre field. Again, the referee giving some chat to the two front rows. He probably no more wants to see lots of set scrums than we do, and it's going to be Hector Patterson, Jed Thistle player last season, Scotland under-18s last season as well, making the step up to senior rugby. It will be he to feed this scrum. Tidy enough ball. Linton picks and goes, feeds Patterson. Patterson to Brunton. Brunton's put it down the park. It's been gathered in by Matt Reid, the grubber from Brunton, and Matt Reid's returned the favour. Now it's back to Brunton inside his 22. Will he fancy a crack? No, he's going to take the sensible option, and he's put that down the paddock again. Now Selkirk are going to have a run back here. No, they're going to go, I thought, for the 50-22, but it's gone down centre field. Is that going to go over the try line? No, the post has held that up, so it's going to have to be played here. And here come Hawick running from their own 22. That's Ferguson. Ferguson's been caught, however, inside his own 22. Now Selkirk have a chance to come over him here, but Hawick are going to maintain possession, and that's a cheap penalty coughed up by Selkirk, which is going to allow Hawick to relieve the pressure.
Yeah, you can see the frustration there on the touchline from Scott White. Very soft penalty to give away when a chance to really build on, just put some pressure on that Hawick defence inside their own 22, but no, referees spotted something he didn't like, penalised them, and Kyle Brunton with a chance to clear the ball.
Yeah, Brunton's sent that over the touchline up towards the halfway line. Decent enough penalty there from Brunton. It's going to be a line out actually right on halfway, so line out to Hawick. Halfway line, trailing here at home. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. It's Hawick 5, Selkirk 6. First try of the season for Hawick, for Ronan McKean, offset by a couple of penalties from new Selkirk signing Matt Reid, and it's going to be Carrier. There's been a lot of line outs so far in this half, and here comes another one. It's Matty Carrier. Did that go straight? No, it looked squint from here, Andrew, and the referee agrees.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he was going to give it initially, but yeah, certainly for our position at the back of the stand here, it didn't look the greatest of line-outs, and yeah, again, it's just those little inconsistencies that's going to be frustrating Matty Douglas so far, and yeah, costly possession again, coughed up, so a chance for Selkirk to launch a set piece on the halfway line with a scrum.
Yeah, it's going to be exactly that. It'll be Jack Hamilton to feed this scrum. We're a few scrums now in this first half as well, and Selkirk have done really well to cancel out everything that Hawick have thrown, or most of the things Hawick have thrown at them in this first half, bar the try, of course. As the front rows take a minute just to get themselves set, it's going to be Selkirk head and feed following that squint line out. As they come together, the ball is fed, and it comes to the back. Monroe Job, the young number 8. Now it's been stolen by Hawick, and it's Linton with a big carry. Linton's had a few big carries in this game, and that's the biggest of the lot. Linton still going. What a carry from Jay Linton. Now it's Patterson. There's a Selkirk player in there. Oh, Brunton possibly took the wrong option there. He kicked it to the referee. A free play. The referee's awarded a penalty. I think that was for offside. Yes, indeed it was. He gives the signal, and now it's going to be a kickable penalty to Hawick. 5 or so metres outside the Selkirk 22, 15 metres in field. And Andrew, what would you do here?
I think, yeah, it looks like Hawick are going to go to the corner, and it seems a sensible option. Yes, a kick at goal would put them in front, but I think they want to really put the pressure on the Selkirk defence. Although they've coughed up possession fairly cheaply a few times, with the attacking platforms like this, they'll be looking to make the most of it just before half time and get that second try.
Yeah, 3 or so minutes to go in this first half. It's going to be Matty Carrier with a line out for what seems like the umpteenth time in this first half. Dalton Redpath looks primed, but he's going to be the decoy, and it's taken in towards the tail there by Hawick. Now the rumble comes on. That's the substitute prop, Nicky Little, number 17, as Hawick trundle up towards the 5 metre line. Here comes Sean Muir with a carry, and the referee's arm has come out again. Is that offside again? Yes, the referee's going to bring them back, and it's going to be another penalty to Hawick as the referee comes back towards the 15 metre line 10 or so metres from the Selkirk try line. Now what are they going to do here? I think they're having a think about the posts. No, he's giving it to Brunton, and Brunton's going to go into the corner again. 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. So line out to Hawick on the Selkirk 5 metre line. Hawick took the last line out cleanly, and they'll be looking to do exactly the same again. It's going to be Matty Carrier. He's got options here. Carrier, he's got Dalton Redpath, he's got Robbie Linton, and he's got Jay Linton towards the back, and he goes to the front to Dalton Redpath. Now the famous Mansfield, the famous Hawick rolling maul here at Mansfield. Carrier's towards the tail of that. 9 tries for him last season as it inches forward towards that line. Carrier still going here. Has Carrier flopped over? The referee has deemed that to be held up, and that's great defence by Selkirk. If so, yes, that's no try.
Yeah, no, very impressive defence there from Selkirk, and they've done that well when Hawick have had these attacking opportunities. They've done enough just to cause the error and to win over possession, and that will really please Scott White in particular, and obviously their forwards coach Darren Hogan. So no, I think Selkirk have done well to stay in the match so far, with Hawick have had numerous line-outs now in that Selkirk 22, and they've not managed to really make the most of them, and Selkirk will be quite happy with to take the lead into half-time.
Yeah, how often have we seen a Hawick rolling maul flop over the line at that club room's end? And we're going to go back in this break and play. It's actually we're going to come back for a Selkirk scrum. I think it was knocked on by Hawick rather than held up. We're going to go to Stuart for an update.
Yes, it's currently Burmuir 33, Southern Knights 14 in the Super 6. Curry 7, Jed Forest 0. 26-10 now to Mar against Musselburgh. That's the bonus point for them. And in the Border League, it's Peebles 0, Kelso 7, and Andy Tate's try.
Thank you, Stuart. Yes, as this scrum is about to set, you rejoin us. It's going to be a Selkirk scrum on their 5 metre line, 15 metres infield. Hawick scrum possibly had the ascendancy in this game so far, but it's going to be head and feet to Selkirk, and they will look to clear their lines from here as the clock ticks down. 25 or so seconds remaining in this first half. Hawick 5, Selkirk 6 it remains, and Hawick have got a bit of a shunt on there, but no, it's gone out, and Nixon with a decent enough clearance up towards the 22. Will there be time for this line out? Yes, I think there will. So take what seems like 47 in this first half. It's a Matty Carrier line out in and around the Selkirk 22 on the stand side here at Hawick. Most of the rugby being played here on this side as the Hawick forwards have a talk about what they're going to do here. Sean Muir once again comes over to give the instruction to his hooker and captain. So some experienced campaigners in that, some narrowly experienced campaigners in that Hawick pack. Muir being one of them. And that's gone to Linton. Patterson, Brunton, out the back door to Ford. Ford's found McKean. McKean straightens and goes. Now, will McKean go all the way? No, he's been well defended by Selkirk, but Hawick in the ascendancy here, right on half-time. They'll be looking to come away from this zone with at least something before the half-time whistle, even if it's a penalty or so. Patterson, oh no, it's a penalty being given to Selkirk, an indiscretion by Hawick at the breakdown in the shadow of the Selkirk posts. And we're going to go in, Andrew, for all the world at Hawick 5, Selkirk 6, and Scott White and his coaching staff must be absolutely delighted with what they've seen so far.
They will be. I think it was James Head there that won the penalty, and he's been very impressive, especially at line-out time, but at the breakdown as well. He's been very effective, and you would imagine. No, I thought Selkirk would take the tap and kick out for half-time, but they'll take the line out on the way up to the halfway line.
Yeah, and the referees, there's a line out to come, of course, and it's right up on their own 10 metre line. I think it was Jack Hamilton with a clearance, and it was a great kick at that. He's gone from the shadow of his own post to his own 10 metre line. So the line out is going to happen here just before half time. It's going to be James Bett to throw in. Will he go ahead? No, he's going to job again at the front. And it's going to be held in there. Will Selkirk try and mount something from here, or will they have had enough of this first half and see it out? No, they're going to come, Selkirk. So just outside their own 22, they're going to be intercepted. Oh, Selkirk, it's been intercepted by Kirk Ford, and Kirk Ford dots down under the posts. And oh, Andrew, Selkirk, what were they thinking?
Absolutely gutting for them. You know, obviously James Head did well to win that penalty in their own 22, and I thought at the time they'd just tap and kick out for half-time. They've obviously tried to work the ball up that pitch, but yeah, I think maybe lack of experience there shown in the long pass, and Kirkford the beneficiary, and out of nowhere Hawick will take a lead into the half-time. Yeah, we curse of the commentator again. We thought for all the world they'd go down the tunnel 6-5 to Selkirk, but Selkirk have really coughed that up. Kirkford, 22 metres out, it was handed to him on a play, he intercepted, run in under the sticks, he's going to convert it as well. You would imagine he's made one Kirkford, he's scored one Kirkford, he's converted one Kirkford, and we will go in here at Mansfield. Hawick 12, Selkirk 6. Andrew, your thoughts that first half? Yeah, a bit of stop-start, I think, as you've said. There's been plenty of errors there from both sides, as you come to expect in the first day of the season, but you know, that's a real sickener there at the end of the match, end of the half there for Selkirk, who've defended so well to obviously be in a position to go into half-time in front, but yeah, just one silly mistake and one error of judgment has cost them dearly, and from obviously going in 6-5 in front, they're now 12-6 behind, and that won't sit right with Scott White, and I'm sure there'll be words at half-time. Yeah, that, you know, it's a real mindset change. You know, you would imagine those Selkirk players, the forwards especially, they're lining up for a line out. We're going down the tunnel here at Mansfield Park in front against Hawick, first game of the season. Let's be honest, most people would have had, you know, Hawick on their card for a victory here. Great first half for Selkirk in how they performed themselves and how they frustrated Hawick, but yes, they coughed that up towards the end, and yeah, Kirkford has gone in there. And what do you think? You know, Hawick have done well enough. They've gone in, you know, they've 2 tries in the bag. They're halfway towards a bonus point win, essentially. What do you think, Matty, the Hawick coach, Matty Douglas's message is going to be at half-time? What's going to be his thoughts? I think Matty Douglas will be delighted that his team are in the position they are, because would you say their performance is merited them to be 2 tries up? Maybe not. I mean, yes, they've probably been the better side with ball in hand and using the space more effectively, but they've not actually done a lot in attack this far. There's been like, you know, soft errors in the middle of the park, wee knock-ons here and there, and which is we've seen from our position up here that has frustrated that Hawick coaching staff. But I think now to be halfway to bonus point, as you say, he'll be very pleased given how they have performed that they're in that position. Yeah, it's been an interesting half. You know, Hawick have not played particularly well. You know, they've got a strong squad out today. You know, a lot of experience. There's some flair players in the backs and a really big and strong and narrowly packed. They've not went that well, but they've scored 2 tries. They go in 12-6 up, and you know, it's the oldest cliche in the book. You know, but to win, you know, and they've not won yet, of course, but you know, certainly to win a half when you've not played particularly well and to go in 2 tries to 0, you know, that's the mark of a decent team. It is, yeah. I mean, it's easy to sit here from the commentary box and say the next score wins. I do feel if Hawick were to get that try after half time and, you know, take a bigger lead, I think it's suddenly quite a battle for quite an uphill task for Selkirk to come back. And you know, it's fine margins in rugby, and we've seen that there. I mean, as you say, Hawick going in front just on the stroke of half time there when we didn't really see that happening, and suddenly, yeah, 1 try could change it all, and Selkirk will be a bit disappointed, but they'll have to come out and really prove themselves after half time. Yeah, I don't, you know, Scott White's a fairly laid back character. You know, he won't be in too much of a flap in there, you wouldn't have thought, and James Head's got an awful lot of experience as well. You know, James Head has played particularly well in this first half. He's not played much rugby lately. He carries a lot of knocks. He's into his 30s now. I was speaking to him this week, and he said, you know, if he gets 40 minutes under his belt, he'll be happy enough, but he looks like he's got more in the tank, and he's played particularly well. He has, yeah. He's been commanding that line out. Obviously I gave him the commentator's curse halfway through, and he said 1 or 2 that haven't gone to plan, but on the whole he's been very, very consistent under that line out ball, and yeah, he's been causing havoc at the breakdown, and yeah, he's a very, very impressive signing for Selkirk, and I think he'll do well this season for them. And yeah, I mean, Selkirk, it's obviously the game's very much in the balance still, and we haven't really seen too much of Selkirk with ball in hand. You know, they've got these players in that centre, especially Andrew Grant-Sutty and Ryan Cottrell, who very dangerous runners, and we've not really seen too much of them so far. We've seen more of Hawick in an attacking sense, and will that worry Scott White? No, I wouldn't have thought so. There's still plenty of time for them to start their attacking moves. We've not seen too much of it this far, but yeah, still plenty of rugby to be played in the second half.
Yeah, there is. And speaking of centres there, you mentioned Ryan Cottrell. We've not seen too much of him. Kirk Ford's had a good half, but we've not seen much of, what arguably one of Hawick's talisman, Andrew Mitchell, in the first half either.
Yeah, no, I mean he'll be looking to kind of kick off when he left off. He was very impressive in that Border League final against Kelso here a few months ago, and very, very impressive runner with ball in hand. He's got that speed, and he's also very physical, and great player in that, and we'll see how this goes in the second half. But certainly Andrew Mitchell, as you say, not seen the best of him, but we'll see how things go in the second half.
Yeah, so 2 tries to Hawick, 1 for Ronan McKean, 1 for Kirk Ford. Kirk Ford with a conversion and a couple of Matt Reid penalties for Selkirk makes it 12-6 to Hawick here at the interval, as the mini rugby teams show us their talents on the field here at half time. And we spoke about Scott White there. If there's a man in the Borders that knows how to win rugby matches, it's Scott White, and he'll be pleased with what he's seen so far, albeit that blip at the end of the half.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, also as you said there, Selkirk haven't had to do too much attacking, and they're almost in front at half time without having to do a huge lot, if we're being honest, and they've more been taking the beneficiary of the Hawick mistakes, and we've seen that in the first half, and we'll see what comes to the second.
Yeah, as we cut for an ad break, join us back here again shortly on Borders Rugby Radio.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Hello, this is George Ingalls here, and I'm thrilled that my songs are now available on 2 albums, Anthology and Lockdown Blues.
Late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear.
Both available on iTunes to download and stream.
I am the train, been gone since '69.
George Ingalls Anthology and Lockdown Blues. Check them out now on iTunes and other digital sites.
To commemorate the 7th anniversary of the opening of the Borders Railway, an 8 DVD box set is now available featuring the complete series Borders Railway from start to finish, plus the full hour-and-a-half documentary 5 Years On, which examines the possibility of an extension to Carlisle, plus extra features including a cab journey along the entire Borders Railway, all for the special price of just £14.99, including post and packing. You can get your copy direct from hotdisc.co.uk/shop. That's hotdisc.co.uk/shop. The 8 DVD box set, the complete Borders Railway, is available now.
This is Borders Rugby Special on Borders Rugby Radio with Stuart Cameron.
Yes, welcome back. So half-time here at Mansfield Park. It's Hawick 12, Selkirk 6. Couple of tries for Hawick. One very fortunate one at the end, an interception, but they're in front. Other half-time scores: Glasgow Hawks 6, Heriots 12 over there in Glasgow. The Southern Knights' latest score, it's Boroughmuir 40. It's Southern Knights 21. Half-time at Currie against Jed. We'll hear from Graham McGregor shortly. 28 points to 7 to Currie in that one. Mar have also got the bonus point, 26 points to 10 against Musselburgh at Fullerton Park. And let's go to the Guides, because it's the Border League Pool B. Peebles against Kelso, and waiting for us there is Sam Matthews.
And at half-time, it is the visitors on top here at the Guides in the Borders League tie between Peebles and Kelso. Andy Tate and Frankie Robson with 2 tries, one on the 15-minute mark, and Frankie Robson dotting down for the second just before the half-time whistle. This game's been threatening to break out from the start, with Kelso's big forwards really setting the tempo, and Murray Hasty and Andy Tate in the 9 and 10 combo really marshalling around the field. Peebles have had the opportunity to attack with 2 scrums against the head as well as a scrum penalty, but unfortunately they could not turn the chance into points. As a result, the half-time score is Peebles 0, Kelso 14. Back to the team at Mansfield Park.
Thank you to Sam, who is at the Gates today, looking after that game for us. Peebles 0, Kelso 14. Kelso, of course, were the beaten finalists in last year's competition in the Border League, in which Hawick won for a very special 50th occasion. And they're ahead now of Melrose by 30 titles. Melrose second on 20. But let's go back to the boys here, who've enjoyed a very, very good first half. Very exciting, very tight, isn't it?
It is indeed, Stuart, and as we've spoken about, it was nip and tuck, and it looked for all the world that Selkirk would go down the tunnel in the lead until they coughed up that. They served it up on a plate really for Kirkfort for that interception. But yeah, I think both coaches will be pleased enough to an extent as the Selkirk players at least, come back out onto the field. James Head among them, so he is going to last more than the 40 that he suggested he might. And I don't see any changes in the Selkirk lineup so far. So just as a reminder, Selkirk lineup from fullback Matt Reid, the wingers are Fraser Anderson and Henry Clarkson, centres are Andrew Grant Sutty and Ryan Cottrell, and you have Ryan Nixon at 10 with Jack Hamilton at 9. In the front row, Luke Petty, James Bett and Zenon Zvagrak. Second row, James Head and Andrew Cochrane, and the back row of Andrew McComb, Scott McClymont and Munro Job. On the bench for Selkirk, Bruce Riddle, Kata Grar, Callum Turnbull, Robert Cook and Blake Cullen. As Hawick enter the fray once again, as a reminder of the Hawick team, it's Lewis Ferguson at fullback, Logan Gordon-Woolley on one wing, Ronan McKean the try scorer on the other. It's Andrew Mitchell and Kirkford in the centres, with Hector Patterson and Kyle Brunton at halfback and standoff. Callum Rennick, I think, has come on for Hawick. We will wait and see who he has come on for. But in the front row, it was Sean Muir, Matty Carrier and Rory McLeod who was replaced in that first half by Nicky Little. The second row is Dalton Redpath and Robbie Linton, with the back row being Stuart Graham, Connor Sutherland and Jay Linton, who had a few impressive carries in that first half. Tom Hope on the bench, Callum Rennick's come on, Gareth Welsh and Bailey Donaldson. It's Selkirk who have got the half underway. They've kicked off and it's come back to Kyle Brunton, who sent it down this Mansfield Park, but it's come back into the hands of the Selkirk players in and around the halfway line. Was that high? No, the referee's going to let that one go. No, it's come back for a high shot. So first penalty of the second half going to go the way of Selkirk, right on halfway. And Andrew, would you expect more of the same?
I think I would. I mean, I think after Scott White having the half-time team talk there, I would like to think that Selkirk would come out a wee bit more attacking in this second half. We didn't see a huge lot with them in ball in hand, especially in that Hawick half in the first periods, and yeah, we'll look to see that there with a line out just outside the 22. But yeah, as you say, Hawick or Selkirk rather didn't do too much wrong in that first half. A few errors, and obviously the big one right on the stroke of half time. But yeah, they've got plenty to build on, especially the impressive line out as Luke Pett seems to put in the ball in here.
Yeah, it's James Bett to throw in first line at the second half. He's found Andrew Cochrane, the young second rower. So Selkirk look to build here on the Hawick 22. It's at the back of the mall, which they are looking to shunt forward. So Selkirk, Hamilton now feeds it out to Nixon. Nixon's got a player coming short. That is Ryan Cottrell. Cottrell takes it into the Hawick 22. Hamilton waits the ball coming back, and he comes back to this stand side. It's fed through the hands there. McClymont's hit hard, but he's maintained possession. 15 or so metres from the Hawick line. Back inside from Clarkson. Selkirk over the ball, but it's been stolen by Hawick illegally, so says Sam O'Neill. So a penalty will come the way of Selkirk. 16-17 metres from the Hawick line, and it's going to be 7-8 metres in from this near side touchline, and there is no thought in the mind of kicking to the posts. It's Jack Hamilton who's going to send it in the corner. Has he sent that too far? Oh, Andrew, that looked dubious to me, but the assistant referee has awarded a 5 metre line out to Selkirk, and it's going to be James Bett again as the Selkirk forwards discuss what they're going to do with this one. I don't see this one coming off the top somehow, Andrew.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, given the benefit of the doubt there, the linesman, but
And it's gone to the front to Monroe. Job, he's taken that clearly, and the forwards come round and they're rumbling towards that Hawick line. They're rumbling towards the Hawick line. They're over that Hawick line. No, they're just short. So here they come again, round the corner. Good defence by Hawick. They've been held up a metre short, Selkirk. Svadrak, the Polish international, is he going to have a crack? Yes, he has, but he's not going to make the line. So back again on the Selkirk side, it's going to be McComb. McComb feeds his fellow forward. That's James Head, using his big, tall, 6 foot plus frame, and he's held up just short. Now again, here come the forwards. Now that's come out the back door to Hamilton. Hamilton's gone to Grant City. Can Grant City power his way over this Hawick line? No, a good defence again by Hawick. Holds Grant City up just short, but Selkirk come round the corner, and Selkirk have scored. First try of the day for Selkirk's Ross Nixon, the standoff. It's Ross Nixon with a forwards try, the standoff, and my word, what a great start to the second half. Whatever Scott White said in the sheds there at half time has done the trick. Yeah, that's what we were hoping for. They come out with a wee bit more attacking mindset, and it's come to fruition straight away. Obviously, the attacking line out there, 5 metres out, they have to wait for the phrases, have to be patient. But it looked like Andrew Grant Sutty was going to bury his way over from close range, and he was held just short of the line. But as you say, it's Ryan Nixon who's come around the blind side there, and he's got over the line, which they'll be delighted that they've managed to get back to where they were before half time, before that mistake. And here we go with the conversion to go in front. And that conversion is successful from Jack Hamilton. So Hawick 12, Selkirk 13, and there's an injury for Hawick here. That looks like Nicky Little departing the scene. So Rory McLeod comes back on for Nicky Little, who's limping off quite heavily. That's a blow for Hawick. He's just back at the club, and it doesn't look like he's going to play any more part in this game, sadly for him. And it's going to be Hawick to kick off. Andrew Mitchell having a word on halfway with the referee Sam O'Neill. Hawick 12, Selkirk 13, 5 minutes gone in this second half. Selkirk very accomplished so far since half time, and that's gone over the head of their forwards, and it's gone all the way into the corner of the Hawick 22. So Selkirk in there 22 now. They will need to exit from here, and that's what they look to do. James Head trucks it up, tries to buy a few more metres, and it's Hamilton now to Svadrak. He gains an inch or so. Selkirk maintaining possession inside their own 22. Hawick attacking that bottom end here at Mansfield, playing from left to right. Now that's not the best of kicks, but it's going to come back on the Selkirk side. It didn't go very far, and it enabled Selkirk to compete, and compete they did. So Head again carries well, and that's a good carry by Head. He's made 2 or 3 metres. It's traditional James Head carry. Now that's an interesting tactic. It's been kicked through by the Selkirk player, and Hawick, he's done really well there, the Hawick player, but Brunton's been caught in and around his 10 metre line. The Selkirk player swarming all over Brunton. Is it going to be a penalty here for holding on? No, Selkirk have stolen it actually. It's been stolen by Henry Clarkson, I think that is the Selkirk winger. So here comes Hamilton. Hamilton Svadrak. He's a big unit, and he trucks it up. It takes 2 or 3 Hawick players to pull down the burly Polish international. Now Selkirk on this near side, not much room to work in, but they've managed to maintain possession. But their winger Henry Clark's been driven back by a couple of Hawick players, and Hawick have won the ball back here. Now can Hawick counter? Sean Muir. Oh, it's been stolen again, but no, it's come back on the Hawick side. It was ripped out by a Selkirk player, but knocked on in the process. There's a meaty old hit in there by James Head for Selkirk on, I think, was Stuart Graham, and Brunton has seen enough. He puts his left foot through the ball, and that's a useful touch finder from Brunton that takes play down halfway between the Selkirk 22 and the Selkirk 10 metre line, and there's a few players with hands on hips. Andrew, that was a fairly breathless piece of play. Yeah, it was a hectic 3 phases there. I mean, it was it came from Ryan Nixon's kick, Ross Nixon's kick eventually onto this left wing, was putting Hawick under pressure, and obviously Selkirk turned over possession, but some good defensive play and some big hits in there, as you say, and here we are, Selkirk line out midway between the 10 and 22. Yeah, very accomplished start to the second half by Selkirk as they have a line out. It's James Bett to James Head. We've seen that a few times today. Hamilton, and here comes the truck up. It's a good carry there for, I think that was Scott McClimate, up towards the 10 metre line. It's fed back inside. to a Selkirk player on the charge, but he's been well wrapped up by Hawick, and Hawick straight in over the ball. Selkirk have been penalised there, centre field right on their own 10-metre line. And what do you fancy Hawick to do here with a penalty? They could kick for goal.
I would, and it looks like they're going to. Yeah, it looks like they're going to take the 3 points here, or certainly an attempt at them. But no, a very impressive start for the second half from Selkirk. They're showing far more attacking prowess, and we didn't quite see that in that first half. And but Hawick at the breakdown are giving nothing away, and they're getting really stuck in. And with Kirk Ford will try his luck from just the other side of the 10-metre line.
Yeah, Kirk Ford, Hawick's go-to goal kicker, their top point scorer last season. He also has a try to his name this afternoon that was served up to him on a silver platter just before half-time. So Kirk Ford, penalty attempt just inside the Selkirk 10-metre line, centre field. It's Ford, begins his run-up. Strikes it cleanly enough, Kirk Ford. The assistant referee's flags are in the air, and that's a very good kick for Kirk Ford, and that takes Hawick back into the lead. Yeah, we've got a good game on our hands now. Very evenly poised, and as we said before the game, both matches between these two sides last season were won by Hawick, but Selkirk came away with a losing bonus point from both. So there's never much between these two sides when they face each other, and it's even that way today. And very evenly poised as Matt Reed gets us back underway. Yeah, here we go. Matt Reed's went deep with that one, down the middle of the Mansfield Park. Gathered in by Brunton, and Brunton sent that back towards the halfway line. So a good clearance by Brunton. He's been brought in, Kirk Ford's been moved to the centre, but Brunton's been accomplished so far this afternoon. It has been, yeah. No, I haven't seen too much wrong with his performance so far. And some intelligent kicks and some good clearances when it's been asked of him. And yeah, which has allowed Kirk Ford to have that space at centre, and which I think suits his game too. So if both players can stay fit, then I think it could be a good partnership for Matty Douglas to have this season. Yeah, and obviously Andrew, the experienced and powerful Andrew Mitchell in that Hawick midfield as well. So it's a good combination, but that's a good line out from Selkirk right on halfway. It's been taken in by James Head once again this afternoon, and here comes Selkirk. Svadrak, big carry again from the big prop. Hawick again in over that, but Selkirk have done well to clear out the Hawick players. Now that looked slightly forward to Andrew Grant City in the midfield, but the referees let that one go. Now here comes Ross Nixon, the standoff carrying like a centre there. So many games in the centre for Selkirk. Ross Nixon, 282 to be exact. Selkirk maintaining possession while not gaining too much in terms of territory. That's Luke Petty, and Hawick again in over that, but the player's been rolled out of there. That was Dalton Redpath with his hand in the sweetie jar. Now Selkirk, that's a crossing I was going to say, in the midfield. The two centres getting mixed up there, and that's a straight arm penalty awarded by Sam O'Neill. And a bit huff and puff from Selkirk there, but they didn't gain too much from a territory perspective. No, they didn't, and they've had to be patient because, as I say, Hawick have they haven't given too much away at the breakdown, and Selkirk having to work very hard to get over that gain line. So no, I think Matty Douglas will be pleased at how his defence have tightened up so far in the second half. Yes, they've the early try wouldn't have been on his plan, I don't doubt that for a second, but since then they've really get stuck in at the breakdown, and they're maybe starting to get that upper hand, I would say. Yeah, they are. Certainly from a territory perspective here, they are going to have a line out. It's going to be Matty Carrier once again to throw in on the far side here at Hawick, right on the Selkirk 22, as the forwards saunter forward, having had their tete-a-tete. The instruction has gone to Matty Carrier, and he's going to throw in to this line out, and he's gone safe to Dalton Redpath at the front. So here come the Hawick forwards. It's their chance to show the Selkirk forwards what they can do in an attacking maul sense. Inching forward 6 or so metres into the Hawick 22. Now Carrier's broken free from the maul and made a couple of metres. Has he been isolated? No, it's going to come back on the Hawick side. So Patterson in there. That's a good carry there. Oh, it's been spilled, however, by the Hawick player. Now Selkirk can go here. Selkirk on the far side. They've put it down the park. Is that going to go into the touch? The Hawick players potentially will be hoping it's going to go into touch, but it's no. The referee's going to bring them back or the referee's going to award a penalty to Selkirk on the Hawick 10-metre line. So I don't know if there's been a bit of obstruction there as the Selkirk players chased the kick, but either way it is a penalty, and that's a great net gain for Selkirk.
It is very much so. I didn't quite catch what happened there, but certainly the assistant referee had his flag out early doors as they marched up that right wing, and
he almost missed his touch there, Jack Hamilton, and it was a ballerina act by Ronan McKean to try and keep the ball in, but he's not managed to do that, and it has eventually gone into touch, and it is going to be a very attacking Selkirk line out. Are they going to go to the tried and tested here? James Bett to James Head in the middle of the park, in the middle of the line out, I beg your pardon. But yeah, great field position for Selkirk here, 5 or so metres from that Hawick line, and they take it in, and it's going to be Selkirk to try and rumble forward now towards that Hawick try line. Vagrag's got it at the back, lending his considerable bulk. It's Hamilton. Now Hamilton to Grant Sutty, the inside centre. He's been held up 3 or so metres short. Hamilton's in there as his forwards come round the corner. Here they come. That's McClymont in there. McClymont with a scrum cap. He's held up 2 metres short, and there's a penalty coming here, I think, to Selkirk. The referee's arm is out, so Selkirk gambling here with house money as Svadrak rumbles forward. Has he got over the line? No, he's been held up, but again Selkirk come round the corner. What's the referee going to award here? There's a penalty coming to Selkirk one way or another. Hamilton to Grant Sutty. Grant Sutty in the shadow of the Hawick posts. Will the forwards come round the corner? No, it's going to come to James Bett. James Bett straightens and goes. Oh, it's been stolen there. Great strength there by Andrew Mitchell to stop what looked to be a certain try against the front row James Bett. Strong work from Mitchell, the centre in defence there, but there was always going to be a penalty coming back Selkirk's way. So, I thought Hamilton had taken that quickly and gone, but now what will Selkirk do here? Will they go back into the corner, or will they kick for the posts to take a narrow advantage once again? There's hands on heads again. It was another fairly breathless passage of play as the referee speaks to Matty Carrier in relation to whatever the indiscretion was there that's awarded Selkirk this penalty. Will they actually tap and go? They've not decided. Oh no, they've tapped and gone, and it's up towards the Hawick line. Selkirk just short here. We didn't see that one coming in the commentary box. Now it's Monroe Job at the base. Job to James Head. James Head trundling forward. Is James Head over the line? No, he's held up just short. Good carry by Head. Now it's McClymont again. McClymont is under the Hawick post. He's against the Hawick post. Have Hawick held him up there? Have Hawick turned that over? No, it's came back on the Selkirk side once again. Monroe Job, the youngsters in there. Job finds another Selkirk forward, and Selkirk are over for a try under the Hawick posts. A forwards try if ever there was one. And it's the big Polish international Zenin Zvagrak who comes up to the congratulations of his teammates. And Andrew Selkirk were knocking at the door, and they've huffed and they've puffed and they've blown the thing down.
They have done, absolutely, and Scott White and his coaching staff loved that on the touchline there. Some big fist pumps going ahead, and looks like James Head struggling actually on the try line after he's put in a huge performance. But no, Selkirk have been very effective here. They had to go through the phases there in the forward play, but no, they'll be very, very happy. And I think an unsung hero, Monroe Job, has been very, very impressive there at number 8, and that'll please Scott White especially, having this number 8 just come through from the Selkirk Youth Club, and he does not look out of place whatsoever in the Premiership. And it was his carry initially which got Selkirk up to the posts, and as you say, it was a big Polish international that got over the line, and Matt Reid adds the extras.
Matt Reid does indeed add the extras, and that takes the scoreline to Hawick 15, Selkirk 20. 23 and a half minutes remaining in this second half. And yeah, you mentioned Monroe Job. He played Scotland under 18s in the 2022 Six Nations, and you're absolutely right, he does not look out of place at all, the youngster. And yes, James Head is going to depart from Selkirk. He's got a big grin on his face. If I know James Head like I do, he will not want to come off. He looked like he was in his element down there, but yeah, he's a war horse in the body, not quite holding up as it used to. So he's going to be replaced by fresher legs, and it's Kyle Brunton to get things back underway. Not his cleanest kick, but it's gone 10 metres at least, and that's the main thing. And Selkirk are going to try and build again here from 5 or so metres outside their own 22. They're going to hit up now. They'll be buoyed by that Selkirk. They'll be full of confidence, and why not? Here they come again, setting it up. Referee telling Hawick to keep on side over on that far side as Hamilton sticks it into the Mansfield sky. Jay Linton underneath, and Jay Linton's done exceptionally well, and Jay Linton's taken off here. Jay Linton's been the pick of the Hawick forwards so far. Patterson to Sean Muir. He loves a carry, Sean Muir, and he's made a metre or so there. Patterson again, he's got Redpath here. Bypasses Redpath to Brunton. Here comes Mitchell, the powerful centre. Mitchell had McKean on his shoulder, but he's taken it down and allowed his forwards to set it up. Patterson again to Brunton, coming towards this near side. Lewis Ferguson, dancing feet from Ferguson. Logan Gordon-Woolley's in to support him. He's going to come back again on the Hawick side. Patterson, the youngster. Patterson, he finds Callum Rennick. Callum Rennick takes it in just outside the Selkirk 10 metre line. Patterson again to Brunton. Brunton looking for runners, and he finds it in the form of Sean Muir. Has Sean Muir released that? No, he thinks better of it and taking it to ground. No risky play there from Muir. Brunton left foot. Now will that be a 50-22? He was right on the halfway line. He's gone deep into Selkirk territory. Now what way is the assistant referee's arm going to go here? It's going to be a line out too. The suspense is killing us. The line out is to Selkirk, so he must have just been inside the Selkirk half. That was touch and go, Andrew.
It was, yeah. I mean, Selkirk given the benefit of the doubt there. There wasn't much in it from where he kicked it, but a couple of substitutions. I think Bruce Riddle has come on for the Polish try scorer we've just seen, and as we say, we can't quite see who's replaced James Head, but certainly a couple of changes in that Selkirk pack who've. The Selkirk pack as a whole has performed very, very well in this match, and they probably do deserve just to be in front, I would say, in the match so far.
Yeah, I think it's Callum Turnbull who's come on for James Head. But it wasn't a 50-22 award in the end, but either way it was a superb kick off the left foot from Kyle Brunton. Now Selkirk attempt to relieve their lines with a high up and under, but it's been taken in by Ronan McKean. So Hawick now in possession, 5 or so metres outside the Selkirk 22. And that's been not the cleanest to pass there, but it's been gathered up by, I think that's Callum Rennick, and Callum Rennick's made good yardage there from a messy pass. Now here come Hawick. It's Mitchell. Not seen too much of Mitchell in this game. He's been well defended there by Selkirk, and that's been fumbled by Hawick, but the referee says it's gone on, and I thought Nixon might have stolen that from Jay Linton, but I should have known better because Jay Linton is all power and he's taken a couple of defenders with him. So Patterson, his Hawick attempt to build again. Patterson to Ford. Ford to, I think that's Stuart Graham in the midfield. Stuart Graham the wing forward, back to Patterson, but Patterson's fumbled that. I think the referee's going to bring them back for a penalty, so it's going to be a penalty of Hawick, offside by Selkirk. The referee marches backwards towards the Selkirk 22 to put his foot in the ground for the mark. So 6-7 metres outside the 22, almost centre field, but Hawick are having none of it in terms of a kickable penalty. Kirk Ford goes towards the corner, and it's a decent kick from Kirk Ford. It's going to be a Hawick line out just outside the Selkirk 5 metre line. We're going to go back to Stuart here for an update.
Yeah, a bit of an injury on the pitch at the moment, so that gives us a chance to cross over to Meggetland. It was Boroughmuir Bears playing the Southern Knights. It ended 40-28. Here's Mickey Unotta.
Boroughmuir Bears 40, Southern Knights 28. The Bears 21-0 up at half-time. Solid defensive work, strong tackling on the front foot, resulting in 3 tries for Jack Fisher, Callum Ram and Scott Robinson, all converted by Jack Bergin. Tom Lanny sadly went off after lengthy treatment, the Knights guilty of slack defending. On 45, a flowing move through the backs, offload to Joe Jenkins for try number 4 and a bonus point. No fault defensively this time, not converted. The ascendancy now with the forwards. Corey Tate drove over from a maul, Bergin converted 33 points to 0. But a spell of pressure from the Knights produced a try on the hour, scored by Alan Ferry from a line-out. Cammy Scott converting, swiftly followed by scrum half Douglas Crawford's 30-metre burst, converted by Scott, 33 points to 14. The Bears conceding a few penalties too. Was the comeback on? No.
No, it wasn't. It ended 40 points to 28.
Yes, and here we are with an attacking Hawick line out just outside the Selkirk 5 metre line. It's going to be Matty Carrier with the arrows. Carrier goes to Stuart Graham, but Stuart Graham's fumbled. It's gone over his head, and Selkirk have come up with possession, and the groans from this Mansfield stand will probably tell you that. Now Selkirk coming towards or look at the exit, the Hawick 22, that's a loose pass, and there's a wee bit of afters going on there. But it's a break from Selkirk now up that far side, and it's the athlete, it's Fraser Anderson, the winger. Great break by Fraser Anderson, takes Selkirk up to the Hawick 22, but he's held on too long, and Hawick are going to be awarded the penalty. So another great attacking platform coughed up by Hawick, and they're going to have to rebuild here from their own 10-metre line. And I think there's been another substitution from Selkirk. Andrew Cochrane, the other second row, has departed shortly after his Boiler House partner James Head, so that's not an ideal for Selkirk as they look to defend this 20 points to 15 lead over Hawick with 17 minutes or so remaining on the clock. Sun still beating down here at Mansfield, not a breath of wind, glorious conditions, and you will seldom ever see the Mansfield pitch in as good a condition as this, which is all credit to the ground staff here, who Greg McLeod tell me have been working exceptionally hard over the summer. So Hawick line out. Matty Carrier once again. Matt Carrier that time goes to Connor Sutherland, and he takes it in cleanly. Selkirk come round and spoil that. Now, is there a Selkirk player offside there? No, he's rolled away. Now it comes to Sean Muir, trucks it up as he's done so often throughout his career. Patterson again. Patterson to Bailey Donaldson, who's on for Hawick now. Now the wraparound from Hawick, and it's Kirkford that took that off the bootlaces. Kirkford, and he's put through a clever grubber. Now will that go into touch? No. Matt Reid's going to have to deal with it. Matt Reid, no, it was Fraser Anderson who came across from the far wing to try and deal with it, but he's been bundled into touch on the stand side here at Mansfield Park, and it's going to be deja vu rather, another attacking line out right on the Selkirk 5-metre line, and Matty Carrier's going to have an opportunity to get this one right after the last one went awry.
Yeah, Kirkford, as you say, did very well to gather that pass off the bootlaces, as you say, and a very wise grubber kick into that corner has forced Fraser Anderson into the mistake, and Hawick will launch his attacking platform. Matty Carrier, collected by Dalton Redpath. Yeah, Dalton Redpath's taking that in now. Hawick with a chance to rumble. Carrier's at the back of this. There's a Selkirk player came through, and Carrier's screaming at the referee that he's done that illegally. Yeah, and the referee agrees there's an advantage coming as Hawick trundle forward. The players in front of the Hawick players in front of the Selkirk player care not a jot for his presence behind them, but the referee now blows his whistle, and what will Hawick do here? It's a great attacking position, with a penalty to come. 10 or so metres in from the touchline on the Selkirk 5-metre line. So what will they do here? Will they trust the line out again? They've got the opportunity of the scrum, and there's the possibility of a pick and go. I think they're going to take the scrum by the looks of things, Andrew. Yeah, they are. Luke Petty getting a word in his ear from the touch judge there. Not quite sure what that was regarding, but yeah, another dangerous attacking platform for Hawick here, 5 metres out with the scrum. Yeah, and it looks like Bailey Donaldson's, for this move at least, Bailey Donaldson's come on for Hawick, and he's going to slot into the 10 position with Kyle Brunton moving out one. The powerful Mitchell is outside of him, and Ford is gone further to the left. So great attacking platform here as they look to come back into this 20 points to 15 down against a dogged Selkirk outfit, but that scrum's moving forwards now. It's been twisted. The referee's going to bring them back. It's gone round the full 90, and there's, I think, only one option for Hawick coming here. Matty Carrier will be in his helmet in the middle of that front row. I would think so, yeah. I mean, Hawick's set piece, especially last season, was pretty sound. And as we've said countless times today, they're known for their forward pack and their power. And yeah, you could bet your chances on them going over from here. And 5 metre scrum, you wouldn't imagine they'd cuff up this too many times. But no, Selkirk will be pleased to have withstood the pressure so far in this match, and still be leading with less than 14 minutes to go now. But yeah, this could change in the scrum. Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, both Selkirk second rows are on the touchline now, so not quite as much grunt coming through from them to that front row, and it's going to be Hawick that are going to try and look and capitalise. But Patterson's fed out to Donaldson, Donaldson to Brunton, Brunton to Kirkford, Kirkford's got McKean, and McKean's going to romp in here. Ronan McKean brings up his second try of the afternoon over on that far side, and it looked like they were going to go for the shunt, Andrew, but that's a lovely move out the back line. It was a lovely flowing move, and no, each member in that back line knew their role, and expertly crafted, and Kirkford with that lovely floated pass out to Ronan McKean, and you can see why he was joint top scorer last season when he's given that kind of service, and it was an easy stroll in for him. He's got the physicality should a tackler come across, but it was a free run into that left hand corner, and Hawick draw level. We've got a great game in our hands now. Yeah, we certainly have. It's Ronan McKean, as you say, he's a big man, he's quick with it,
He won a couple of sprints on the Borders athletics circuit this summer. He won Selkirk and Innerleithen, so he is no slouch. And yeah, 22 metres out or so, he took that with open prairie in front of him, and there was only ever going to be one outcome. So we're all level. Kirkford's conversion attempt to come. Kirkford begins his run up. It's Ford. How's he going to strike this? He's hit the post, Kirkford. So it remains 20 points apiece, 12 or so minutes remaining. And Andrew asked you before the game how you seen this one going. Come back to me, how are you calling it now?
It really could go either way. I mean, Selkirk have shown much more grit and much more attacking prowess in their second half, and you can see they're right up for this. And no, Selkirk have been they've made a real game of this in the second half, and yeah, it's very, very difficult to know which way this game's going to go. Yeah, and Selkirk have kicked off. It was taken in by Jay Linton. He fed Bailey Donaldson, and if Bailey Donaldson's got one thing, then he's got a meaty left boot, and he sent the clearance down towards the Hawick 10-metre line. It's going to be James Bett to throw in. He doesn't have either of his starting second rows to aim at, of course, and James Head will no longer be running the line out. So the Selkirk pack a wee bit more lightweight as it stands, but they've got some fresh legs on there. I think that's Scott McClyman coming in. He was hanging in the backs, but he's come in now. Oh, and that's been gobbled up at the back by Matty Carrier of Hawick. Oh, and Carrier's found Hector Patterson. Oh, and Hector Patterson's flicked out the back door, but only into a Selkirk hand. So Selkirk to Hawick, back to Selkirk. Now it's Andrew Grant Sutty. Thought about kicking it, decides to straighten and go. Grant Sutty takes two Hawick men to bring him down. He's offloaded that, Grant Sutty. And has there been a head knock in there? Yeah, the referee was very quick onto that.
This is Borders Rugby Special on Borders Rugby Radio with Stuart Cameron.
So here we are. A little bit of music there for your entertainment in the break of play, but we're going to go back to Stuart for an update.
Yes, here it is, the update, and it's not good news, I'm afraid, from Millennium Park. It's Curry 52, Jed Forest 12 at the moment. Glasgow Hawks 6, Heriots 12 is the latest score. Still waiting to hear news from Raven Place. Embrack playing GHA today. Hawick obviously here 20-20, another close game at Mansfield Park. Mar 40, Musselburgh 17, Peebles 0, Kelso 14 is the latest score still, and that result from earlier. Boroughmuir Bears 40, Southern Knights 28.
So the referee very quick in there. There was a head injury, but I think the player is fine, which is good to see. I think it was Tom Hope there, the Hawick prop, who'd taken a bang, but he is back on his feet and he's going to pack into this scrum. So it's going to be Selkirk head and feed 3 metres or so inside their own 10-metre line. 20 points all here at Mansfield, less than 10 minutes remaining on the clock. It's going to be Jack Hamilton. Jack Hamilton's went well this afternoon, the young scrum half, 19th appearance for him. And they're going to come up. That scrum's going to need to be reset, and Hawick have possibly had scrum ascendancy, but they've not been overly dominant.
No, they've not. And obviously Matty Carrier, as we know, is always very physical with the ball in hand, and it was him that was making inroads in that right hand side just a couple of minutes ago, and it was Andrew McComb of Selkirk that was the vital interception that's led to this scrum for Selkirk, and otherwise it looked like try time potentially in the far corner. So
and the referee's awarded a scrum penalty. You may well have heard the shrill of the whistle there. It's been dragged down by one of the Hawick front row, so Selkirk with a chance to gain territory into the Hawick half, and Hamilton has done exactly that. Decent kick by Hamilton, actually takes play up towards the Hawick 22. Trusty left boot of his, so it's going to be James Bett once again for the umpteenth time this afternoon to throw into a Selkirk line out. Three or so metres outside the Hawick 22, and this is not where Hawick will want to be camped with 8 or so minutes on the clock. Let's be honest, they were the pre-match favourites, and they will be looking to take 4 points from this game. 2 points will not be a great return as far as Matty Douglas and his coaching staff are concerned, but it's been taken. Won the line out by Selkirk. Good tackle on Monroe job, however, by Matty Carrier. Matty Carrier putting in a shift for Hawick this afternoon. Hamilton at the base of this ruck. Hamilton to McClymont. He is ever willing as always. McClymont lays it back. Hamilton again to Nixon. Nixon to Cottrell comes in off that right foot as he's done so often. Now Selkirk potentially are in here. It was Matt Reid taking it deep into Hawick territory. Can Selkirk regurgitate this? Yes, they can. Oh, it's a dummy and go. Good hit by the Hawick player there, which slowed the momentum, drove the Selkirk player back a metre or so, but Selkirk are still 8 or so metres inside the Hawick 22 and maintaining possession. Hawick trying to get in over that, but Selkirk have cleared the players out. Now here comes Grant Sutty. Grant Sutty straightens and goes. Grant Sutty's tackled there by Tom Hope. Selkirk looking to set up here. Bruce Riddle, and that's a good carry by Bruce Riddle. He's pumped the legs. Always a willing carrier is Bruce Riddle, and he's done well there. Now it's come back there to Andrew McComb, another willing Selkirk forward this afternoon. Hamilton, will he look to his backs? No, it's McClymont again on the carry. McClymont inching forward. Has that been spilled? Yes, it's been knocked forward, unfortunately, by McClymont, but McClymont's went well this afternoon. That I can't think of too many errors from him, bar that one.
No, not at all. I mean, we spoke about him in the first half. Obviously, he was voted Player of the Season and Players Player of the Season at Selkirk last year, and you can see why. I mean, he's such a willing runner. Not the biggest of the guys to play in the back row, but he really is ferocious with the ball in hand and takes the game to the opponent every time. And yeah, slight juggle there with the ball, which he'll be disappointed with, but no, he's performed well this afternoon.
He has. So it's going to be a scrum head and feed to Hawick, 10 metres or so inside their own 22, centre field. They'll be looking to find something from somewhere. 6 or so minutes remaining on the clock here at Mansfield Park. Selkirk have now got the shunt on, but Jay Linton's picked up and gone, and Jay Linton's off here. Jay Linton's gone. Jay Linton's down that far side now. He had the Hawick winger McKean on his left hand side with open prairie in front of him. Now have Selkirk won that back? No, it's a penalty to Hawick. And was that an opportunity gone? Did you know, Jay Linton had done all the hard work. He'd made the territory and he had the winger outside him.
He did. He had Ronan McKean, obviously man in form, two tries already today, and on a hat-trick, when you'd have fancied him to make the try line if he had received the ball there. But I mean, Jay Linton has been another strong performer this afternoon. He's played very, very well. Brings a lot of physicality at the back of the pack there, and Hawick, with just over 5 minutes remaining, we'll be looking to launch another attacking platform with yet another Matty Carrier line out.
Yeah, Jay Linton, so good to see him back. I was actually at the game where he cracked a vertebrae against GHA at the Volunteer Park last season, and that was him out for the season. And you know, Hawick missed him, there's no two ways about that, but he looks fit, he looks sharp, and for me he is the standout number 8 in the division. Although young Monroe Jobs went well against him here today. So here come Hawick. Bailey Donaldson slotted in at 10. Inside centre now is Brunton. Now Brunton has found Kirkford. Kirkford's got straightens and goes and makes half a yards. Kirkford now. Hawick into the Selkirk 22. Donaldson again. Donaldson's got Hope as Langham, townmate, on his shoulder. Hope takes it in. Patterson comes back towards this near side. Hawick have got numbers here, and it's Andrew Mitchell. Andrew Mitchell straightening and gone. Dragged down on the 5 metre line, Andrew Mitchell. So Hawick in the ascendancy here. Hector Patterson, he's got his big forwards to his left. That was a good hit by the Selkirk player. I think that was on Sean Muir. But now here comes Dalton Redpath again. He's been willing in his workload this afternoon. Redpath, he looks fit. Patterson again to Sean Muir. Sean Muir. Hawick not making too much ground here, still in and around the 5 metre, but that's a lovely looping pass by Bailey Donaldson to Ronan McKean. Ronan McKean cuts inside, but the Selkirk defence have done really well there. Patterson, though, the ball's come back on the Hawick side, and again Dalton Redpath is the runner. Will Selkirk get in over that? No, it's going to come back on Hawick side, and it's Patterson out the back now to Brunton. Brunton's got Mitchell. Mitchell's got a man over here. Has that gone forward? That is a butchered opportunity. Lewis Ferguson was in there for Hawick, and the pass was butchered by Andrew Mitchell, and that's going to be a Selkirk scrum on their own 5 metre line, and that was an open goal, Andrew.
It was, absolutely. You can tell by the groans here at Mansfield Park. That was a huge missed opportunity, and Andrew Mitchell will be very, very disappointed with that. It looked like a try was on the cards, albeit there, and you know, Andrew Mitchell maybe could have gone himself, and he had Lewis Ferguson in support, but yeah, slightly better pass, and that's try time all day long. So yeah, I mean, Matty Douglas will be very, very frustrated with that one especially, but here we are with under 3 minutes remaining now, and you couldn't ask for a better poised game.
Yeah, what a game it's been, what a second half. It's been so nip and tuck. There's been there's been no team any better than the other. It really has been even Steven stuff here at Mansfield Park, and it's going to be a Selkirk scrum on their own 5 metre line. The last scrum of Selkirk's went really well. Oh no, actually it's not. The referee's now awarded a line out, so the pass was butchered, but it must not have went forward. It looked for all the world from up here like it was forward, so I think Selkirk would have been more happy with a scrum, just a wee bit more solid, but it's going to be a line out nonetheless, and it's going to be James Bett as his skipper Luke Petty comes over to issue the instructions. Both second rows, of course, already on the touchline for Selkirk, but Monroe Jobs went well at line out, and it's Job who's tidied that up at the front there. They went route one with that. Selkirk played it safe, and they've come up traps. So Selkirk now winding down the clock, inching forward here with a rolling ball. It is a good shove, and it's up towards the Hawick 22, and now they've got a penalty. They've got a penalty, and there's a wee bit of afters here. The 2 number 7s. Oh, the 2 number 7s are at it. It's Connor Sutherland and Scott McClymont. Now what's the assistant? Oh, they're all in here. Bruce Riddle has been dragged out of there by Dalton Redpath, and they're still at each other. Neither of that pair are known for taking a backward step. Now the assistant referee's in here. It was the 2 number 7 certainly that started it, and I thought McClymont possibly went back for a second bite of the cherry.
There were certainly verbals given out by Connor Sutherland, and Scott McClymont didn't take too kindly to him. I must admit, I didn't see any hits given as such. I thought it was just both players grabbing each other, but feisty end to the match.
Yeah,
as you expect from a border derby.
Yeah, certainly handbags in there, that is for sure. I'm with you. I didn't see too many. I didn't see too many haymakers, I have to say, but there might have just been a couple of sly little digs there in the tight. But we will see as the referee Sam O'Neill and his assistant referee have a chat about that. We await the outcome. Matty Carrier, the captain's being called forward, as is the Selkirk captain. So the smart money here is the penalty remaining for Selkirk, although Connor Sutherland's been yellow carded for Hawick, and there's another player as well. That looks like Ross Nixon. Now Ross Nixon didn't to me look like the guilty party there, I have to say, but Ross Nixon is coming to the touchline with Hawick's Connor Sutherland, so this game is going to be played out with 14 on each side. Now what way is the penalty going to be reversed? No, the penalty is going to continue to go the way of Selkirk. The clock would be off there, of course, so maybe have 2 minutes remaining here at Mansfield Park. 20 points apiece, Hawick v Selkirk, and what has been a Borders ding-dong to kick this season off. I'm pretty sure Selkirk in their heart of hearts would see this as 2 points gained, and Hawick would see this as 2 points dropped here.
They would, absolutely. No, as you say, it was certainly Connor Sutherland and Scott McClymont who were involved, but whether Ross Nixon came in afterwards and got involved later on, the assistant referee picked up on, I'm not sure, but 14 apiece it is. Yeah, right in front of our vantage point, and it was a loose line out, but it's been gobbled up gratefully by the charging Bruce Riddle, the prop, and but Bruce Riddle, his charge was that good that he ran away from his support, and the Hawick players got in over him, and he's held on just that fraction too long, and now it's going to be a penalty to Hawick, but they are 5-6 metres inside their own 10 metre line, and it's a quite, the scoreboard clock has run down. There's obviously a minute or two left to go, and it's going to be Kirk Ford to send it down this Mansfield touchline. The banana kick from Kirk Ford, and he's not made much by way of acreage. However, it's going to be a Hawick line out 3 or so metres outside the Selkirk 10 metre line. Big line out this for Hawick. Too early to say big in the context of the season, but they did not come into this game today looking to drop points against a team who finished 9th last season. So Carrier's got Dalton in the middle once again, and it goes to Dalton. It's won by Dalton, down to Patterson to Donaldson to Brunton. Brunton's got a man short, but it's gone. Oh, and that's a big old hit on Lewis Ferguson. That was Andrew Grant Sutty with he came out the line. His timing was impeccable, and Selkirk have driven over that. Selkirk, no, it's been won by Hawick, and have Hawick got numbers on that far side? It's carried in there by Sean Muir. Now, what way will Hawick go with this? Here comes Mitchell.
The Selkirk bench screaming for numbers to come back on this open side. They feel Hawick have men here. Carrier with a half break and go. Can he free his arms? Carrier trundles over halfway line. Now it's Patterson. Patterson. Here comes Donaldson. Donaldson to Brunton. Oh, now there's space here for Hawick. It's Stuart Graham. Graham cuts back in field. He had Ferguson on his outside. Graham takes it over the 10-metre line. Hawick with territory here. Late possession, late drama. Muir again is a willing carrier, and Muir steals another metre or so. Patterson again at the base of that. It's going to be Patterson to Bailey Donaldson. Donaldson to Jay Linton. What can he conjure up? He's carried in there, Jay Linton. Has he held on that fraction too long? Oh no, there's a break on here by Hector Patterson. Oh, Hector Patterson's been dragged down. He's popped out the back door. Hector Patterson at Dalton Redpath. Dalton Redpath, has he got his support? It's nobody too near him at the moment. Mitchell, I think that is, with a carry towards line. Oh, he's lost possession. He's lost possession. It's been spilled forward 5 metres from the Selkirk try line. It's been put out by Selkirk, and the referee brings proceedings to a close. 20 points all, Hawick and Selkirk. And oh my word, Hawick in the last 10 minutes or so, they have butchered opportunities, and all credit to Selkirk. However, they have scrambled with all their heart.
Absolutely, you know, that was a real game in 2 halves. We didn't see too much to get excited about in that first half. You know, a few errors and knock-ons, but that second half had everything. Tries, butchered chances, you know, a wee bit of afters as you'd expect from a border derby, but no, that was a thrilling second half, and a draw is probably a fair result. I mean, I think Selkirk defended very, very well on the whole, and they'll be, as you said earlier, they'll be very much happier than the two teams with 2 points.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Selkirk camp will be exceptionally happy. I can see an ear-to-ear grin on the face of Ryan Cottrell there, the centre. Yeah, you know, let's be honest, we thought that Selkirk came into this as underdogs. I can't separate those two teams. You know, it's an obvious thing to say, the scoreboard would dictate that, but I don't think one team has outplayed each other. I fancied Hawick to outplay Selkirk, if I'm being honest, but yeah, that is a battling performance by Selkirk, and if ever a performance will set the tone for the rest of the season, with guys to come back into the squad as well, Scott White must be absolutely delighted.
I think so, yeah. I mean, even when you look from the commentary position up here, I mean, you look at the size of the Hawick pack. I mean, we were very much of the opinion that they would have the upper hand in the scrum time, but there wasn't much to choose between the packs at all. And I mean, Selkirk got stuck in, and they've showed a lot of dog in that second half, especially, and defensive effort in particular. They'll be very, very pleased. And obviously a lot of work done by Darren Hogan, the forwards coach, and Michael Jaffrey, and the Feds coach, and thrilling border derby, and a draw is probably a fair result.
Yeah, so the Bill McLaren Shield is going to remain at Mansfield. A draw as far as border league points go in that pool, and also 2 points each in the context of the Tenants Premiership. Big win today for Curry against Jed, big win for Mar against Musselburgh, bonus point wins for both, and not the start that Hawick wanted. Hawick, this is a fortress, let's be honest. Hawick have not lost a league game here since 3 years, give or take a month. That's a huge result for Selkirk, a huge result. It is.
No, I mean, obviously Selkirk are the first team to stop the Hawick winning run. I mean, Hawick won every game here last season, all 9. As I say, they did make this place a fortress. So for Scott White to bring his side here and to come away with a draw, he'll be very happy with that. And you know, they certainly had chances and to take the upper hand in that second half. And I would certainly say with the home advantage, Hawick will be disappointed of the two teams, but no, given how the match played out, I think there really wasn't much to choose between the sides at all.
No, Hawick will go to Riverside Park next week against Jed Forest, while Selkirk will welcome Glasgow Hawks to Philiphaugh. And you know, both teams will go. No, Hawick will go into that game in decent enough fell. You know, let's be honest, they've not lost today, but Selkirk will. Selkirk will be. You know, they'll welcome Glasgow Hawks with open arms next season. Now they'll be looking at that game and thinking, we're going for the W here, and they've got Jed at home the following week, and yeah, Selkirk all of a sudden are upwardly mobile.
They are, and very interesting to see just the body language here from as the teams take their huddles. I mean, a few disgruntled looks in the Hawick camp, and big smiles on some of the faces in the Selkirk staff and the Selkirk coaches. So, you know, they will be the happier of the two sides, and you know, to come, as we've said, to Mansfield Park, which not many teams come to and take points away. So Scott White will be very, very pleased with that, and it'll be interesting to get his thoughts after this match.
Certainly will. And Scott, you know, Curry came here last season, left defeated. Marr came here last season, left defeated. Selkirk have come here and they go back along the A7 with a couple of points in the bag. And Andrew, I'm going to make you Johnny on the spot here. Man of the match.
Dear, that is a difficult one. I can't look too far away from Scott McClymon to Selkirk. I think he got stuck in very, very well. James Head, obviously the experience he's brought and the way he led that forward pack in the first half was very, very impressive. Hawick, a few standout performers, but I think I think I'd have to give it to Scott McClymon actually.
Yeah, well, if you'd asked me the same question, I would have mentioned the same two names for Selkirk. I mean, as you know, from a team perspective, what a battling performance, 1-20 from Selkirk. Let's be honest, Hawick butchered a couple of late chances there, one in particular which could have led, of course, to a different outcome, and we could have been talking about a skin of the teeth Hawick win. But yeah, I think those two players in particular. I'm going to give a shout out to young Monroe Job as well. You know, he's 18 years of age, first game for Selkirk at senior rugby, up from Selkirk Youth Club. He again was outstanding round the park, made his tackles in the line out, you know, a willing recipient in the line out, particularly after James Head went off. And you know, Selkirk got players to come back. Things are all of a sudden looking rosy.
They have. No, I mean, I think as you say rightly, a shout out to both number 8s. I think Jay Linton played very, very well for Hawick as well.
Agreed.
So no, both number 8s causing havoc at the back of the scrum, and you know, that's good to see. I mean, obviously forward such a big part of the set piece is such a big part of the game nowadays, and to see both number 8 start the season very well is a sign of things to come. And the thrilling border derby, I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and speaking of border derbies, we will be live next week at Riverside Park, and Jed on the wrong side of a fairly big Curry score today at Maleny. They will welcome Hawick to Riverside next week, obviously, but Hawick, let's be honest, Hawick will be, you know, looking to go down there and leave with 4 points to get things back on track to where they thought they'd be coming away from here today. Yeah,
they'll be somewhat a wounded animal, you'd like to think. I mean, Jed will be looking to bounce back from obviously a heavy defeat today. It would be very interesting to see how they shape next week, especially with no Gregor or Lewis Young today, which is almost unheard of now in a Jed squad. So it'll be interesting to see the lineups next week, and you would think Hawick would get the job done next week, but 80 minutes of rugby, and it'll be an interesting occasion.
Yeah, as we await Luke Petty, the Selkirk captain, who's going to come up here to the back of this Mansfield stand and join us. We're going to get the thoughts of the Selkirk captain. Luke Petty, he must be a proud man this afternoon, I would have thought, as he comes to join us. And I think it was a full shift from Luke this afternoon.
It was. No, I think every forward 1 to 8 got very stuck in.
Good to see it up and running.
Thanks, Luke. Here he comes. We'll just get you a mic. Luke, if you bear with us 1 second. Here he is. So, Selkirk captain Luke Petty. It's a draw at Mansfield Park. Luke, most teams leave here with a defeat. You must be extremely proud of how the players performed today.
Listen, proud's probably not the word. We'll go back and do a bit of analysis. We probably at times threw that game away, but it's just no easy to come to Mansfield. I said to the guys when the wee scuffle broke out, let's not give them any easy thing here. The least we deserve is a draw. Listen, we pulled it out.
You certainly did, and you're blowing hard there, Luke. Still, obviously, in a full shift by you this afternoon as a prop.
I thought you had forgot that bit. Plus, I'm getting called up to the back of the stand here is never good.
But yeah, you know, some of the guys that have come into the club, you know, you're not at full strength today. That was it was a sore one, losing a marquee signing in Ewan McQuillan, but you must be delighted with some of the guys that have come in.
Recruitment's been really good. Talk about injuries, that's the easy talking point and bouncing on for last year. It's a bit deja vu, but listen, we fielded a really strong first XV, and across the back we had a seconds team out playing as well, so it's really positive for me. The boys that stepped up deserved their shot today, and probably make selection headaches when boys filter in a bit harder.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You know, when some of these boys start to come back, Scott and the rest of the coaches are going to have something to think about.
It's a good headache, isn't it, for myself? We just signed young Callum this week as well, who showed a bit of interest. So it's interested. We're showing a bit of interest at the club now, and we're in the right direction. We're really happy with that.
Excellent, good stuff. Well, looking forward to next week. You know, Glasgow Hawks at home. They're a good side. There's no two ways about it, but they can blow hot and cold, particularly in the road. Is that one that you guys have got earmarked?
I think playing at Philip Paul has to be a target for us, to be honest. We spoke about goals. Playing at home's a strength for us, and we need to be looking to win at home and build off the road through there.
Indeed. Well, we'll look forward to seeing how that one pans out next week. Thank you very much for joining us, Luke. We'll now bring in Hawick captain Matty Carrier.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Luke. As Matty will come to join us, the two captains shake hands, both war horses, both front rowers who have done the full shift this afternoon, which is no mean feat on a warm day. Just saying there, Matty, full shift.
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting that. Ross Graham obviously picked up an injury on Thursday night, so shipped in and just got to plod through the 80 minutes and see the finish. Yeah, and
this is a fortress for Hawick. There's let's be honest. And what was said there in the huddle in the immediate aftermath?
We're disappointed. Last year at the start of the season, I would say we were underdogs, and this year I think we believed a bit of the press a wee bit too much. Maybe what we were saying, we wanted to be confident, but I think we might have got a wee bit cocky and thought it was just going to happen. We seemed to forget how much hard work it took last year to win those games, and we just weren't good enough today.
And did you expect the onslaught that came from Selkirk? It was a dogged performance that certainly some pundits maybe didn't see a scoreline of that nature panning out.
Yeah, definitely. After all, it's a border derby, so it's always coming. The form goes out the window. Obviously, the start of the season, so there's no form anyway. But a border derby, it's always the same. Like everyone, you get into arm wrestles, you sometimes don't get that shape that you want to play, and comes into forward orientated. So we knew it was coming. But.
Yeah, and speaking of border tussles, off to Riverside to face off against Jed Forest next weekend. What will be the work-ons, do you feel, this week in anticipation of that one?
Work rate for one. I don't think we worked hard enough around the pitch. Physicality, we were second best to a lot of things today. That, and we'll improve that set piece. It didn't quite fire like we wanted it today, so let a few chances go when we got into the 22. So if we fix those, we'll be on the right side of that scoreline, hopefully. Well,
good stuff. Thank you very much, Matty, and we will look forward to seeing you at Riverside next Saturday. We will see you down there. And yes, here we are, Mansfield Park, first day of the season. It's ended in a draw. Hawick 20, Selkirk 20 in the 10-inch Premiership.
Based in Galashiels but covering the whole region and beyond, Borders Mortgage Hub is your one-stop shop for all things mortgage related in the Borders. Visit us at bordersmortgagehub.com or call us on 01896 807 008. That's 01896 807 008. Borders Mortgage Hub. Mortgages for the Borders in the Borders.
Hello, this is George Ingalls here, and I'm thrilled that my songs are now available on 2 albums, Anthology and Lockdown Blues.
Late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear.
Both available on iTunes to download and stream.
I am the train, been gone since '69.
George Ingalls Anthology and Lockdown Blues. Check them out now on iTunes and other digital sites.
To commemorate the 7th anniversary of the opening of the Borders Railway, an 8 DVD box set is now available featuring the complete series Borders Railway from start to finish, plus the full hour-and-a-half documentary 5 Years On, which examines the possibility of an extension to Carlisle, plus extra features including a cab journey along the entire Borders Railway, all for the special price of just £14.99, including post and packing. You can get your copy direct from hotdisc.co.uk/shop. That's hotdisc.co.uk/shop. The 8 DVD box set, the complete Borders Railway, is available now.
Okay, welcome back
This is
to
Borders
Mansfield
Rugby
Park.
Special on Borders Rugby Radio with Stuart Cameron.
Yes, indeed. It's all been kicking off today. 2020 has ended here at Mansfield Park. Selkirk are not quite getting over the line. I presume that the Bill McLaren Shield stays here at Mansfield Park because Selkirk haven't actually won it, but we'll be checking out on that a little bit later on. But let's go through the results for today. Super 6, Boroughmuir Bears 40, Southern Knights 28. Enbrackies and GHA score still not in. Glasgow Hawks 31, Heriots 19. It's Mar 47, Musselburgh 31, and in the Border League Pool B, 14 points either side of the break. It ended Peebles 0, Kelso 28. Kelso Quins, by the way, beat Hawick Youth today, 47 points to 10 in that match. And the one that we haven't actually mentioned yet was Jed Forrest, who went to Currie to Maleny Park, and watching that one for us was Graham McGregor.
Jed Forrest travelled to Maleny Park with perhaps hopes of a good start to their season, but it was not to be as a strong Currie side powered their way to an 8-try victory. 3 converted tries for the home side in the first half hour looked ominous for Jed before Dom Buckley sent in Rory Marshall for Jed's opening try, converted by Lewis Walker. However, a try in half-time saw Currie once more in command, and while Paulo Ferreira added to his impressive tally for the Borderers with their second try, 4 more from the Currie powerhouse made it a tough day for Jed. The final score at Maleny Park, Currie 52, Jed Forrest 12.
So a bit of a thumping, I'm afraid, for Jed Forrest up at Currie, but it is a very, very difficult place to go. And we've just about calmed down, I think, from the commentary box. Andrew Fleming and Robin Purdie here. Jed Forrest going down there, not really unexpected, but very, very hard place to go.
Oh, it is, Currie... Not champions by default. Arguably last season, they won the regular season, Currie, and that was always going to be a mammoth task for a Jed outfit going up there today, who are probably not as strong as they'd like to be squad-wise at the moment. And yeah, I think Jed will be targeting. There'll be other games that Jed are targeting other than that one this afternoon.
You can almost guarantee, though, Andrew, that they'll be getting up for next week against Hawick.
They will be, and realistically, it doesn't get much easier because Hawick will be somewhat of a wounded animal after not getting the result here today. They'll be desperate to come away from Jed Forrest next week with the bonus point victory. And Jed obviously going through a bit of a transition period at the moment, new coaching staff and a few squad changes. It's never going to click straight away, and obviously going up to Currie is a very, very difficult way to start the season. And the home advantage next week and another border derby, and as we know, anything can happen, so we'll see what happens there.
Now, Robin, we've had a look at that scoreline which came in, which was rather dramatic, which was featuring Mar, of course, Mar winning 47-31, but Musselburgh coming back strongly at the end and getting a try bonus, and scoring 31 points at Fullerton is very difficult.
Yeah, that's no mean feat, Stuart, you're absolutely right. And yeah, it looked for all the world like Mar were kind of coasting there. Perhaps they took their foot off the gas a wee bit. They did race into a commanding lead, but that's Mar with a bonus point win today, Currie with a bonus point win. It's far too early in the season, of course, to be talking about bonus points and things like that and the impact that bonus points are going to have. But, Currie and Mar, you would imagine, are going to be Hawick's biggest challengers, if you like. They certainly were last season, and that's them up and running, and Hawick have stumbled a wee bit here today.
So what will we take from this result today, Hawick against Selkirk? Because obviously on paper, and games are never played on paper, but Hawick looked pretty good on paper. You thought they were going to do a job at home as well, but fair play to Selkirk. They always come down here and give their best.
They do, yeah. I mean, obviously they came away from here last season with a losing bonus point, and today they've gone one better and they've got 2 points. And no, I think that it was thoroughly deserved. I think from 1 to 20 they got really, really stuck in. And Robin and I had a chat before the game, and you especially look at the size of the Hawick pack, and you think they would have the upper hand at scrum time, and it didn't really happen that way. I think it was very, very little to choose between the teams, and a draw realistically is a pretty fair result.
Well, Robin, certainly not a bad way to start off on Borders Rugby Radio with a match like that.
No, and and in terms of us, of course, being impartial, then there's no better result than a draw, I guess, as well. So, but no, you're absolutely. Selkirk will be heading back along the A7, absolutely thrilled with 2 points in the bag here at Mansfield Park this afternoon. And my word, some of their players put in a shift. I mean, the captain came up there, Luke Petty. He's no spring chicken, Luke. I'm sure he would agree. He's put in a full, he's put in a full 80 in the heat of the afternoon as a prop. James Bett, the other big prop, the Polish international Zenon Szwagrak, he went well again this afternoon. Just as Andrew said, 1 to 20, they have done a job, and they have made their club proud this afternoon. For Hawick, yeah, they'll be going down to Jed as a wounded animal, I think one of you said. And when a captain's talking about work rate or lack of, you're in for a tough week of training ahead.
Absolutely. And so to next week, it's going to be Jed Forest against Hawick at Riverside Park. What do you reckon for that one?
Again, I can't really look past a Hawick win. Yes, I thought they might have got the result here today, so I could be proved wrong next week as well. But as we say, I mean, Jed going through that transition period and a number of changes, as we've alluded to already. I mean, no Gregor or Lewis Young in the squad today, which we're not used to. It's been a chance for obviously the younger players to, like Lewis Elder and Owen Cranston, I think, were in that back line this afternoon, and a chance for them to show what they can do. So yeah, we'll see what they can do next week.
Okay, well that's a draw then here at Mansfield Park 2020. The spoils even. A loss for Jed Forest against Currie on the road. Elsewhere in the Premiership, wins for Glasgow Hawks and Mar. We're still awaiting the result with Edinburgh Accies against GHA. And in the Border League pool at the Gites, it was Kelso who was too strong for Peebles by 28 points to nil. Boroughmuir Bears beating Southern Knights 40-28. We'll be back next week with that big double Border League Premiership derby, Jed Forest against Hawick. But that's it for now. Thanks for your company, and from me and the team, bye bye for now.